Yes, yes, yes. Not Jets, Jets, Jets. Not no, no, no. But yes, yes, yes. What do I mean by that? What do I mean? Yes, yes, yes. Find out after this. We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, we're in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by a million today.
Yeah. Not by a million. But hey, we're going to talk about the game today. We're going to talk about the game after we say hello to some people. You knew the game was over. Jacob. I don't know what to say, Jacob. Yeah, I understand you knew the game was over at some point, but you really didn't know. You know, I can go to any game when the team falls down, a team falls behind and said, I know the game's over. And then when I'm wrong, I'm just wrong. And when I'm right, I get to walk around saying I'm right. But, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You know, you want the worst quarterback in the NFL playing instead of Mike White. I don't, you want the number 33 ranked guy. That's your thing. You could think that playing the 33rd ranked quarterback in the NFL is the answer for us, but it's not. So now we root for the Dolphins. At least you're rooting again, Jacob. At least you're rooting again, which makes me think you've recovered enough to realize that we're still in a playoff race. So I got the game. I'll say what's going on. Dolphins got the ball. They had a big stop on the Chargers. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But Tua, it looks like Tua, was he open? Oh, he was really open. Tyreek Hill is not saying that Tua is the best quarterback now. He just missed him. I mean, he was wide open and he was missed. Sith hoppers, what's going on? I mean, the one thing is look. Here's the good news. The good news is we for this season. It's not really good news. The best news, and I said it. In the beginning of the year, I said, if we're in the playoff contention and Zach sucks, so it doesn't get better. I don't know if I think I'd rather be. We're not really in playoff contention. We win some more games, and maybe we're going to win 8 games for the year. But Zach is amazing, and that's. The rest of the team still has some catching up to do. That would have been a better situation. This was not the situation that I wanted or thought was best for us. Because you have to understand that we don't have like Mike White's a free agent. So I don't know what he's going to cost, but we did not account for that. We weren't supposed to have to pay for a quarterback because we're paying for Zach. And now we're running out of the window. The window is shutting on Zach. And it's shutting ever so tight right now. Not just because Mike White's better right now. And it's like, how could that be? How could this guy be better? He's 5th round. He was cut by Dallas. Nobody wanted him. Yet he's better than Zach Wilson. And not better than Zach Wilson because Zach Wilson's a rookie. That excuse is long gone. He's better than Zach Wilson and Zach Wilson's second year after Zach Wilson has played over 20 NFL games. Now, this is not a good thing. Is there hope? Yeah, there's hope. There's some hope that Zach can turn this around and salvage his career. I mean, it's possible. It's not impossible. But we're not in a good situation. This is not the way I wanted to be in the playoff hunt. I didn't want it to be, some other, another quarterback. Right? But the reality is, for this season, the good thing and the good news is if you're going to look at it, it's that for the purpose of this season and winning now, our coaches are doing the smart thing. and they're playing to win now because they're playing the best quarterback on the roster and got the best quarterback in the games now. So we know we're safe. We don't have to, like, unless he does something horrible and loses the job, we don't have to worry about stupidity. Like this Buffalo game scared me. I said, "Oh my God, what if Mike White doesn't play well, and they bench him and bring Zach back, and then Zach just didn't get better? That would be awful." But instead, Wilson had a game today that would be, I don't know. I got to look at the exact and pick them out, but I'm guesstimating. I did this before and I haven't had time to research it. Probably the third to fourth best game of Zach's career, Mike White just had tonight in a loss. So, that's how much better Mike White is than Zach Wilson. That in his like fifth start or sixth, he's not supposed to be the guy. He just put up a game that would have been Zach's like fourth best game of his life. Like what, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get any better than he is because he is 27. So this might be the best version. And that's not what we wanted. When we drafted Zach Wilson, we thought we were in line for a star quarterback, for an absolute stud. And I'm not saying that window is closed completely. There's a crack of it still open. The problem is it's slipping away. And we might have to have the reality of, what is this organization going to do? Like, what is the organization going to do? Thank you. Thank you, Travis. I honestly haven't had a chance to an opportunity to look at every game, but I'm just going by memory. I'm like, okay, the Tennessee game, I guess we have to give to Zach as a better than game today because they won. Even though there were concerns in that Tennessee game that we won, missed easy passes that almost cost us the game. He still won us the game with some remarkable plays. And then I think about, like, I don't know, like what game? Jacksonville, he rushed well, but he didn't have a good passing game. Tampa, he managed the game well and kept us in the game last year. The Steelers, he had a bad game for 3 quarters, and then he had 2 drives. But that was good. I'm not complaining about it. Then he had the game where we beat Buffalo. Can't say that he carried the team in the block back. He didn't exactly throw for a ton of yards. It wasn't a high-scoring game or whatever. It was a game management game. So, I mean, right away, there's only 4 games you can even talk about that Zach has played in where he can compare to who Mike White was today. And I got to be honest, I didn't feel at all today as nervous or as nauseous as I am when Zach's in the game. Like when Mike White came back from that injury, like there was a sigh of relief. Chargers just did a huge running play. Darn it. They're up 3-0 and they have the ball at the 10-yard line. There was like a sigh of relief. I was like, oh, thank God Mike White is back. I never felt that with Zach yet because he hasn't been good, consistent enough for me to look at Zach and say, oh, Zach's back in the game. Thank God. Although that's not true because there were times where I really wanted him back in the game when Joe Flacco was in. So there were moments, but I don't know. I mean, and I'm just hoping that something clicks like a snap for Zach. Just a snap. Like he gets some kind of confidence. So something snaps in him that changes the player he is. And maybe all along, he's just not throwing the ball. But all along, if he just gets that one little snap of confidence, he'll start throwing the ball in there. And everything will change for him. I hope. But he's going to need the rest of this season on the bench unless there's an injury, right? And he's going to need the offseason before he gets his chance because he lost his job. And he didn't lose his job unfairly. I mean, because if it was just the box score and not by eyes, okay, we can complain, right? You hate when that happens. It's a freaking box score. Watch the game. You can tell he's better. But everything favors Mike White. The box score, the looking at your eyes and watching the game, everything except the team record, which means nothing if we're smart, right? If we're going to be reasonable. We know that the 5-2 doesn't mean anything. I mean, it means something. He didn't lose us the games, but we're not going to look at Zach's record because, I mean, who cares? He's not playing the game alone. His defense may have played better. We played, however it was, Denver, Green Bay. I mean, it wasn't exactly a stud those games. I remember Brees Hall being the stud. So I mean, we really, I mean, you got to go by what you see. And when you see one quarterback is able to stay in the pocket, look around the field at his receivers, check down if nobody's open, or make tough, tight passes, get your guys involved in the game. Elijah Moore is back as a Jet. Garrett Wilson is now flying towards Rookie of the Year. This is all because we finally put a quarterback in there that knows how to go back into a pocket, find open receivers, and throw the ball. We didn't have that because Zach Wilson wasn't that. He wasn't able to do it. I'm not saying he'll never be able to do it, but he wasn't able to do it this year. He wasn't ready. And that's scary. That's scary because we really needed Zach to be the answer. We really do. And we're running out of hope that he is. And it sucks. But the good thing is for right now, we have a good quarterback. Right now, Michael White is playing and we have a good quarterback. We can go in to every game now confident that we have a good quarterback. He's not great. He's not going to carry us. He's not going to carry us on his shoulders. He needs great play around him. He needs the great defense. He needs the offensive line to play really well. He's not a great quarterback, but what would we expect? He was drafted 5th round and cut by the Cowboys. We got him off the garbage heap. We can't expect greatness. We could just be really happy and appreciative that we're getting good. We're getting NFL good. I don't see how we complain about that. And when we watch the tape, it might be even better. I don't know. We're going to watch the tape. I mean, in about 24 hours from now, NFL.com is going to release the All-22, and we're going to be able to really look at how he did. Because for all we know, every time he checked down, he might be a genius. Or there may be tons of times he checked down where he could have thrown the ball, and we scratch our heads and wonder why. We're going to find out. At least our running game will be solid. Bam was a steal. Yeah, he was a steal. Defense is great. We know that. We know the defense is great. If the defense is not great, then someone has to tell me. Then Josh Allen's the most, and then Josh Allen is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. If our defense is not great, because the only way to explain Josh Allen and the way he's performed against us is that our defense is that good, right? So I mean, at some point, people have to acknowledge that our defense is for real. And I know there was some drives that frustrated us today, but I mean, no defense doesn't get scored on. Like, it's just, I mean, because no one's saying, even if our defense is like one of the best in the NFL, we're not saying it's 1985 Bears. So, that's one of those rare things that you're going to rarely ever see happen again, especially in today's NFL. Robinson hasn't played because he's simply not making the cut. Like, I mean, he might after Michael Carter's game was pretty bad, but I mean, I think James Robinson is, he's had a bad on and off knee, so it's been affecting his ability to play well. And if he's not better than Ty Johnson or Mike White or Bam, if we don't think we have an advantage, why would we give him carries and help him get to 600 yards and then have to pay a higher draft pick for him? Doesn't make any sense. Now, we want to win now, so if he's the better choice and he gives us the better chance to win the game, we're going to play him. We're not going to worry about the draft pick. But if it's even Steven, and he gives us no advantage in our minds, we're going to sit him and let his knee rest, because maybe we get a better James Robinson anyway. Maybe the fact that we're not playing him a lot, maybe we should have just announced it. 2 games not playing, spend 10 days off your knee, ice it every day. I don't know. Doctors, whatever they have to do. But his knee is not good. He's not as good as he can be. Because I happen to think he's a great player, James Robinson. I think the reason we're not seeing a great player is he has a bad knee. And it's not being allowed to heal. He's trying to play through it. So, we'll see what happens there. But we're in great shape running-wise. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't like to talk about the future because we're in a playoff run now, but it's really hard not to think about next year. It's really hard not to think about what if Breece Hall comes back healthy, and then what if, like AVT will be back, right? So then we get AVT back on that O-line. And what if Becton? What if he comes back healthy next year and in shape? And what if he's just great? And then we get Becton and AVT. Oh, my God, with Breece Hall and Bam Knight and Michael Carter. I'm telling you, man, it could be special. We know Garrett Wilson's special. Elijah looked good today. It's just getting Elijah the ball. protecting our quarterback so he could make it to the second, third progression sometimes and actually get the ball to guys like Elijah. Because when they get the ball to him, he's good. Even Mims is a player now, right? Denzel Mims is a player now. He's not perfect, but suddenly he's a player. Suddenly he's a guy who contributes to the team. So that's exciting. Might be that don't be shocked if Mims replaces Corey Davis next year. Corey Davis can't stay on the field. Are we going to pay him $12 million? Or are we going to save that $12 million and put it somewhere else and just let Mims play there? Just go at Mims, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Berrios, and then bring somebody else in. That's not expensive. Like me, I mean, who knows? But it's possible we're going to do that because Mims is looking better. There is a Super Bowl Wilson that may be available. No, the guy you're talking about. You're talking about the Wilson that's playing for Denver. I don't want that guy. I think the Mike White game. I think this Mike White game is probably better than Zach's Buffalo win. It's possible. We'd have to look at the tape. I'm not going to say it because I didn't research. Like I haven't done anything to say that, and I'm not that guy. I'm not going to just say stuff because I want it to be true. And I don't know that I want it to be true. I want to make that really clear because I am defending Mike White a lot because people are attacking him, not because I'm anti-Zach. I am not a Zach hater. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not a Zach hater. I want Zach to succeed as much as anyone else. I am not a Zach hater. I'm someone who's opened my eyes and I have to be honest and real. Oh my God, is that live? Hill, touchdown Miami? Is that Tyreek Hill running for a touchdown? The referees are signaling it. Tyreek Hill just may have just done one of those crazy things where he, like Marcus Allen in the Super Bowl on Black Sunday and 30 years ago. I think he just did a thing where he turned around and went the other way and went all the way around the back. Oh my God. I gotta watch the replay. But anyway, what are the refs saying? They're saying touchdown. So we were down. Miami was down. I'm saying we. Miami was down 10-0, and now it's 10-6. Let's see what happened. Wilson had the ball. He fumbled. So Hill was blocking like a wuss. The ball's fumbled. It rolls out of a pile. Hill is standing there because he was blocking like a wuss, and he picks it up and runs it back, and he runs it in for a touchdown. That's amazing. It's amazing. That was the most wuss block I've ever seen, and it reminds me of why I respect guys like Corey Davis and Denzel Mims, because they would never be caught dead with such a wuss block. If you're watching the game, by the way. But anyway, good for us. Miami scores. I think we want them to beat the Chargers. I think at this point we have no choice but to root for Miami because I think we're just like in that situation now. We're just fighting for a playoff spot, wild card spot. So I think we could say that we could acknowledge the division is gone. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I agree with Frank, and I understood the first game, the second game. I understood. We're going to start Mike White. Wilson needs to be on the scouting thing. He can't throw a pass anymore for whatever reason. He got the yips. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I get all that. But now we were on week 3. They're the worst coaches. I mean, you can't tell me they didn't have him. They don't have Zach throwing passes again. Like, you can't tell me it's been 2.5 weeks now, and he's not, like, better. I mean, come on. He was 1 week off beating Buffalo. He had the horrible meltdown against New England. Don't tell me he's not better. So, third game, Mike White's third start. By that time, why isn't Zach Wilson his backup? Like, Mike White doesn't have to look over his shoulder anymore. He's the starter. It's his job to lose. He's the starter. So why the hell is Joe Flacco the backup quarterback and not Zach Wilson? Because Zach Wilson is still someone we're supposed to be rooting for and want to believe in, and we still need to get him on the field and see what he's got to see if he's our guy. And when he did, and let me tell you something, when Mike White went down, if Zach Wilson's in the game, he doesn't take that fumble that Flacco took, because we know that happens to Flacco all the time. It doesn't happen to Wilson, right? Much less of a chance. Wilson would have took off. He would have ran, even if he didn't get anywhere. He wouldn't have fumbled because he has a great sense of the defenders coming in from behind him. That's one of the great things we could truly say about Zach Wilson without argument is he has incredible feel and presence. He knows when they're there. He feels it because we don't see him fumbling when he's sacked. So if Zach is there right off the bat, we don't turn that ball over. And then that overthrow to the tight ends that Flacco made, maybe Zach nails that throw. So I don't know that he would, but maybe he does. Because I've seen him do it. I've seen Zach look great and throw dimes. So, but to put in someone like Joe Flacco needs to go. He is brutally bad. Thank you for what you did the first few weeks, I guess. Adios. He's got to go. He's garbage. I'd rather have a mentally messed up Zach. Maybe he comes into the game and that's what breaks him out of it. Maybe he comes into the game and he takes a hit and goes, hey, I'm Zach Wilson. And he starts playing like Zach Wilson again. But I'd rather have the risk of Zach Wilson either being horrible or finding himself again and being Zach Wilson than what I know is shit. And that's Joe Flacco. That's crap. And there's no way he should be in that game. So next week, if next week, because I think Mike White is starting. I don't think the ribs are that much of an issue. Zach Wilson better be the backup quarterback. Like, if this didn't wake them up, I'm like that. I will join everybody and be upset about. Like that, we should all agree. Like Zach Wilson needs to be the backup quarterback. Like if Mike White goes down, we should not be looking at Flacco. I know I got a guy up here right now who would say Strevler, but he's moved on. He's all over. He wants Conklin out now. That's his thing. It's not. I know it's not a discussion. Yeah, the silver lining is that Mike White could end up being a Jimmy G. But I'm not ready to completely write Zach off yet. I still have this deep-rooted hope that Zach is going to be his own story. Forget about comparing him to every other quarterback. That he's going to be his own unique story. And that he's going to come back somehow and rebound from all this. And maybe it's just blind, faith or whatever it is. I don't know. But I still hope it happens. Braden is in New Zealand. What's going on, Braden? How you doing? It's Monday. It's about 1:23 in the PM. He's already halfway done with his first workday as we sit here dreading the end of the weekend. Isn't it funny what a living on the other side of the planet can do? Yeah, Quinn is amazing. Well, luckily, I heard it's a calf, and he's already day-to-day, which knowing Quinnen means he's going to play. I honestly believe they're keeping Rumsfeld on the bench. So it doesn't cost a fifth-round pick. I mean, it's possible, but it's also it's not like we're keeping a better player on the bench, though, right? I mean, because would it have mattered today? I don't even think we saw Ty Johnson. I think it was all Bam Bam and a little bit of Mike Carter. I don't even remember Ty Johnson hitting the field. So I don't think Robinson would hit the field. So I don't know if it even matters. But definitely we shouldn't try to force feed the kid. We should be like, if everyone else is playing well, let's keep that pick. Miami is no longer losing 10-0. I just must be behind in the chat. Yeah, the old line has got to improve. I know, but understand that Buffalo has a great defensive line. We're not the only team. We're not the only team that does this. We're not the only team to get eaten alive by Buffalo's defensive line. I mean, remember, they're Buffalo. I mean, there's a reason they're one of the favorites. Sack for Miami. Miami has all the momentum in this game, by the way, even though they're not winning. Miami does have the momentum. There's 6 minutes to go. They're about to get the ball back. They're down by a field goal. And as of right now, Miami definitely has the momentum. Herbert, let's look at Herbert. Yeah, it doesn't look too good. Snacks. I mean, I'm calling you Snacks. You call me Snacks. Mess. I think that Corey Davis is probably going to be done as a Jet because of that. I think that even though He's really good. I love him. I'm not putting him down at all. I just think, can we really pay $12 million for a guy we know each year misses games? He keeps getting banged up, and he drops a bunch of passes and creates interceptions, and he also makes big catches. Sounds like Mims to me. Why not just put Mims in that spot next year? It's the same thing. Plus, I think Garrett Wilson is going to get so many more passes next year. And then there's Elijah. Like, I don't think we have to let people go to pay people. How are we going to pay Quinnen? Well, maybe we could take $12 million of the Corey Davis money. That instead of signing that option, take that $12 million, and that's $12 million that we have to throw at Quinnen, plus other money that we're going to have to throw at him. So, but let's move on from quarterback, though. I'm concerned with our cap for next year. We're going to have to lose some players. I know. We're definitely going to have to lose some players. That's the problem. And guess what? We have to, if we sign Mike White, we're going to lose more players. We weren't supposed to have to pay. We were supposed to re-sign Mike White for probably a couple of million. If everything would have went well with Zach, Mike White would have been a backup quarterback, and we would have had the opportunity. Nobody would have come and made him any crazy offers. We would have been able to re-sign him. Now, here we are, and if he plays out the rest of the season and we make the playoffs, we might get stuck paying him about $10 million a year, a multi-year contract, to have any chance, maybe even more, depending on how good he does, or depending how the other teams are. It only takes one other team to say, fuck, I don't want to draft another quarterback. I'm not going to take a risk in the draft. I'm not going to sign Jimmy G for $30 million. I'm going to get that Mike White guy for 12 for 3 years. Then guess what? We're going to have to match that. Otherwise, he's gone. So we've got a real problem. The answer to the problem is that Zach Wilson gets it together. And he can. I'll admit this, okay? As much as I've opened my eyes, right? After the Buffalo game, I was feeling pretty good about Zach. I wasn't there. I still had tons of doubts, tons of anxiety about him. Oh, my God, he's still not proving he's the guy. But I felt a lot better. He beat Buffalo. He played an efficient game. I said, oh, my God, maybe we could build on this. And then the New England game happened. But the New England game was one game that happened. It happened. So part of me says if we could just erase that one game from our memory for a second, we all hadn't given up on Zach Wilson yet. We didn't know it was over for him yet. So am I really going to let one game completely strip any hope that I have that he could be our franchise quarterback? I probably shouldn't. I don't want to. I want to hold on to some hope. Because the problem is we have a salary cap, and if it has to be Mike White, it's nothing against Mike White. I love what he's doing for us this year. But, man, we need that money. We're trying to sign Quinnen Williams, man. We need that money. Our tight space, Herbert is gone, man. That backup guard that we have, he's gone. How are we going to pay him? He's going to go somewhere and start. He's not going to stay with us. He knows AVT's coming back. He knows we got Lincoln and we're stuck in a big deal with Lincoln. He's not going to stay. And we would have to pay him crazy money. And where are we going to get the money if we have to pay Mike White? So it's not a good situation. So, thank you for saying that, because some people are trying to act like I'm not. And I am. Fucking love Zach. I have 2 of his jerseys. I want him to be good so bad. People don't understand. But the thing is, when Mike White is playing, I'm going to root for him so hard. I'm not going to sit there and harp on Zach Wilson. Because the reality is Zach Wilson didn't keep the job. He lost his job. He wasn't doing good enough. And if Mike White gets hurt, if the ribs aren't good, and if Zach is the backup and at some point of the game Mike White gets tackled and he's in pain and has to come off and Zach comes in, I'm going to sit there and say, please, Zach, be amazing. Don't look back. Throw a dime and then another dime and throw another dime. Light it up. Light it up and never look back and never let the Jets have any opportunity to bench you again. That's what I'll hope for. That's what I'll hope for. But man, it's not going to be easy. That Miami, yeah, but hey, guess what though? Maybe it was a cheap touchdown, but you know what, Billy? If Miami's going to win, let them win as cheaply as possible. Let it be that it's nothing about them being good, but yet they get the win, so the Chargers take the loss. You know what I mean? That was number 11, Wilson. Can you believe how they just got Wilson from San Francisco and what he's doing for them? They just added a stud onto their team. He's playing so good for them, guys. It pisses me off. Not that we had room for him, but I'm just saying that he had to go to Miami. That's going to be the thing now. San Francisco, Miami, and the Jets. Players are going to rotate like a wheel because of the coaches, the system. Forget about Flacco, man. I don't care about his experience. There comes a time where experience becomes he's an old man with no reflexes. Joe Flacco is an old man with no reflexes. He's no longer that good of a passer. He's going to fumble. He's going to get stripped of the ball once a game at least. He's at that level now. It took one play. It took 2 plays for him to get stripped of the ball. 2 plays it took him. So, I mean, he's done. He's done. No more Flacco, please. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather have Strevler. There you go, Tony Alexio. Mark it down. Chaos just said it. And look, just as I said it, I saw this pop up. We want Strevler. He doesn't say dum-dum anymore. Where's the dum-dum? Tony used to say, he'd always throw in a, we want Strevler, dum-dum. I missed that one. What's not accurate? I don't know what you're saying because you see, that's the problem is people keep saying it's opinions. Some things they're close enough in skill level to be opinions, and sometimes they're not opinions. It's called emotion. Like sometimes it's not an opinion. That's what film is for. We can't I'm an educator, so it drives me mad when people keep insisting opinion. Like you have to know what an opinion is. An opinion is something when you don't have evidence and you're just going by your feeling. But like if somebody said, I think that, who should I say? Pick some Jag player. Who's a Jag player in the NBA? Oh God, I can't think of an average NBA player that's average because why would I know their name? Because you only know the names of the stars in the NBA, right? But like, oh my God, it's like saying, I'm like, it's like saying somebody says, I think Shepard is better than Quinnen Williams. And you say, that's ridiculous. It's not true. And they say, well, it's my opinion. No, that's not an argument. That's not a valid argument. It's my opinion. Like you can't say Nate Shepard is better than Quinnen Williams because there's tape and a million things to prove that it's not true. Well, guess what? If you're talking about Mike White and Zach Wilson and who's better right now, there's tape that shows without question Mike White is better right now. Without question, there's no opinion. The opinion is just stupid because you're not backing up. It's just emotion, and you're saying it's my opinion, but it's not real. What do you mean your opinion? Your opinion of what? Did you watch the tape? Because nobody can watch that tape. Nobody can watch tape on both these quarterbacks and think that right now Zach Wilson is better than Mike White. It's impossible to make that claim. You're lying if you say it's your opinion, or you're blind by emotion because he's clearly not better. The box number, the numbers, the statistics show it, and the tape shows it. When you look at where Mike White throws the ball, and when you look where Zach Wilson throws the ball, Mike White, his passes are accurate. Zach Wilson's are not accurate. When you look, Zach Wilson scrambles a lot. You know why? Because he sits there like this and doesn't throw the ball. And the tape shows the guys are just as open, but he doesn't throw it. I don't know why he doesn't. I want him to, but he doesn't. And Mike White does. So I don't want to hear about opinion. The opinion goes out the window. Then it just becomes stupidity or emotion. or like just dumb emotion where you just can't open up your eyes and see the truth. Because everyone that's still insisting Zach is better than Mike White, if Zach Wilson was if Mike White was playing in Zach Wilson's uniform and you thought it was Zach Wilson, you'd be the same performance. You're saying, oh, no, look, he's not that good. You would be going crazy that he's great. So you'd say, oh, look how much better Zach is now. You would, but you know it's Mike White, so you won't say it. Even though it's right in front of our eyes. We're watching him play better. We're watching him play better. Why would Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore and every wide receiver on that team except Berrios, baby, so animately show that they want Mike White to play and so obviously want him to play? You think it's personal because they like him? They want the ball. Think about it. If you're a receiver and you want the ball, who do you want to play quarterback? The guy that can actually throw it to you. I mean, it's like every single piece of evidence. The tape, if you watch it and you're all normal and not insane, if you have any eyes, if you have any ability to watch something, he's so clearly better. And then the statistics, he throws 250 a game, 250 yards like it's nothing, like it's normal. Zach Wilson has done it how many times? How many times has Zach broken 200 yards? I think he broke 300 once. I think he broke 200 like 3 times or something. He throws for 150 yards a game. His completion percentage is 56. What are we talking about here? So if you look at the numbers, that goes against him. If you watch physically, watch my show from Wednesday, you could see on tape that Mike White is better. He's just better. He is. He's better. It's like, get it through your head. Wake up. I'm not saying that he'll be better next year. I'm not saying he has a higher ceiling than Zach Wilson. I'm not saying that one day Zach Wilson will be so much better than Mike White. We'll laugh at ourselves over it. Because all of that's possible. But where Zach Wilson is right now in his development, the way he's playing right now, is not even in the same league as Mike White. Mike White is playing like an average NFL quarterback. Zach Wilson wasn't even in the top 32. He couldn't even break the top 32. He couldn't be better than all the backups. There were backups that were rated higher than him. That's how bad it was. He was the 34th ranked quarterback in the NFL. That's how bad it was. He was 34th. Everyone's saying he was 5-2. He had 4 touchdown passes. Okay, give him the 3 where they got tackled at the 1-yard line. 7 touchdown passes. 5 or 6 interceptions. What the hell? 150 yards a game passing. 57 completion percentage. What is so good about him? I love him. I want him to be great, but he was terrible. He was terrible. Open up your eyes and watch. He was terrible. There's no excuses. It's like, wake up. Join our world. I mean, you can't sit there. I understand. If you had to pick one, Mike White or Zach Wilson, you'd pick Zach Wilson because you believe that he's going to be much better in the long run. Fine. That's an opinion. Fine. That's an unproven thing. There's no evidence. That's an opinion. Fine. But you can't take footage. You can't take film. You can't take the games that have already happened and say it's an opinion. Unless you're blind or you're just embarrassing yourself. It's like, it's crazy because it's not even close. If it was close, then yes. But it's not close. That's the problem. It's not close. It's not even next. It's not close at all. There's such a difference. Not only in the stats, there's a huge difference. And when you watch, there's a huge difference. Zach was throwing balls all game long into the ground. So many. You want to count, go through games, watch how many he threw that were inaccurate. Yes, Mike White throws inaccurate passes. Every quarterback in the NFL throws inaccurate passes. That's why you got to look at the accumulating total, the aggregated data. And the aggregated data shows that Zach Wilson, right now at this point of his career, is a 55-56% completion rate guy. And Mike White is like mid-60s, I think. That's it. You can't sit there and say it's not there. It's there. It's like, oh, the defense that he played. Well, today he played against Buffalo, and he had a 68% completion percentage until the last three, just desperate passes, and that brought him down to 61. But it was baloney. He was at 65 the whole game. Even if you want to leave the 61, let it stand. Still higher than Zach. So we've got to stop it. I mean, like it's just crazy. But okay, I'm gonna go forward a lot because people are complaining because I'm behind. So okay, data doesn't lie. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you have to look beyond the data, though, Larry. To be honest, sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to look past the data because you playing different defenses. There are different players that could be drop passes. So with small sample sizes, you have to look beyond the data. But we have enough data now. We do. There's enough data to know, not forever, but for right now in the moment, there's enough data to know. All you had to do was watch Zach play against New England, and you know he needed to come out. And we can't say, oh, he's ready to come back or not, because we're not watching. What if he's so messed up at the head, he's still throwing the ball to the ground? We don't know. Nobody's showing any footage of him in practice. There might be people screaming for Zach Wilson to come back and play, not knowing that he can't throw the ball accurately over 5 yards. We don't know. Oh, you're telling me that I'm behind on the Chargers game? Thanks. This is just wrong. This is wrong. He doesn't call a different game. He's not able to call the same game because Zach goes 1, 2, 3 and out every drive. Like, you could look. It's not that he's calling a different game. That's just you're just inventing it. That's the emotion. It's a different game. He's not calling those plays for Zach. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. It's just that Zach doesn't throw the ball. He can't complete a pass. That's the problem. What are you talking about? You're saying who cares about Zach's stats so long as we win? I don't understand. We would have, if Mike White, the way he's playing, would have played in those games, we would have won. Like, what don't you understand about this? It's like Zach Wilson didn't win us those games. The defense won us those games. Breece Hall won us those games. Some of them he did good enough to win. Yes, Pittsburgh. I'll give him Pittsburgh. My God, Baker Mayfield won a game on Thursday. You're going to hang everything on Pittsburgh. I'm so sick of it. Yeah, he had a great quarter against Pittsburgh. But, like, what is so great about these games? 5-2, but look at the performances. It's one guy. There's a team. He doesn't get the credit for the win. He didn't win those 5 games for us. He didn't. He didn't lose them. Yay. But you can't compare. It's not about record. I mean, look who we just played. We just played Minnesota in Minnesota, and we just played Buffalo in Buffalo, not in our stadium. Now you're magically going to forget that there's a difference of what stadium you play in? That it's tougher to go into Buffalo? You're just going to pretend he's not playing better because of the result of the game? Nobody goes by that. And you know what? Most importantly, you know who doesn't base it on that, Billy? The coaches or any NFL coach alive. Why you think Saleh and LaFleur are the only coaches in the world that can't see this quarterback's better than this one, even though this one's have a better record when they're playing? That's so silly. It's not a one-man sport. It's a team game. Who says we wouldn't have won those games with Mike White playing? Who says Zach would have beaten Minnesota in Minnesota? Who says Zach would have beaten Buffalo today? It wasn't even the same Buffalo players. They had all their guys back. It was a much tougher defense today, and Mike White played better today. Like it's 53 guys, 48 suit up on a roster. The game is more complicated than a quarterback versus a quarterback. It doesn't make any sense to sit there and say his record is record, because that's bullshit. Because if we were winning games, and when we were winning games, a lot of people were complaining. Like if Mike White, if we would have won these 2 games and only scored 10 points each game, you'd be the first one saying, bring Zach back. He stinks. We only won because of the defense. We only scored 10 points. You'd be the first one saying that. You wouldn't be sitting there saying, well, we won the game. Who cares if we won the game or lost the game? Look at the guy played. Who is the better player? There's lots of games where a guy plays better than another guy. That's silly. If a guy goes 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts, but other guys hit home runs and they win the game, do you start that guy at second base, let's say, over a guy who hits 300 at second base? Because you won the game and you have a better record? Doesn't make any sense. Right now, he's clearly better. Like, how can you not see it? You got to be blind not to see it. There's no way not to see it. Like, you're lying. Wake up, snap out of this deep spell you're under. Like, if you ever watched football, do you even watch football? Or do you watch the uniforms and the guys crash into each other and not know what's happening? Like, watch him play. Watch the 2 quarterbacks play. Watch who's composed. Watch who uses good mechanics and throws beautiful passes. And watch who's nervous and jumping all around the place and doing crazy shit. Do I believe that Zach Wilson can learn this game and be great? Yes, because I've seen him. If he can get comfortable, he's great. I'm the one, I'll say it every time. He's great when he's comfortable. But he's not comfortable right now. He's not playable. He's not even playable. They had to put him on the scout team because he's so bad. He's being humiliated by his teammates because the teammates can't even pretend he's good. His teammates can't even pretend. They can't even say it. They're just cheering for the other guy because they're so happy they have a quarterback that's at all competent. Just to have a quarterback that has some competence. I mean, it's going to take a miracle turnaround, but I hope Zach does it. But right now, man, he's terrible. Like, he's terrible. 5-2. Yeah, lots of teams. There are teams with very bad quarterbacks that have a winning record that manage to win games because they're really good. They're really good teams. Look at New England with Mac Jones, his rookie year. You're going to say Mac Jones is good? Why did they win 10, 11 games, New England? Why? That was Belichick and the rest of the team. Now that offensive coordinator's gone and they're being exposed. But just because you have a winning record doesn't mean the quarterback is good. There's been plenty of teams. What did we say about Miami? The whole thing about Miami that when we thought Tua wasn't good, some people actually think that he still believe he's not good. I don't know how. But everybody said, yeah, Miami, good team, but not a good quarterback. So what's going to happen? You're going to lose in the playoffs, whatever it was. We're not going to take you seriously. But they were still getting wins. Tua still won 7 out of the last 9 games last year, 8 out of the last 9 games. And everybody said, well, he's not that good, though. But he was winning games, Billy. Isn't that all that matters? He must be good. I mean, let's get real. Winning doesn't mean you're good at quarterback. It means you might not be. You again didn't lose us those games. I'm not saying I was celebrating Zach for not turning the ball over. Good boy, Zach. No turnovers. But man, we were playing with a handicap. I didn't realize it at the time because I was so emotionally brainwashed, like you still seem to be. I was so emotionally brainwashed, I didn't see it, but we were playing with a handicap player, like a handicap. We were playing with a handicap. Zach Wilson was a handicap. We had to sit there and pray he didn't turn it over. No, don't run 15 yards backwards, Zach. Please don't. Oh, he didn't. Oh, thank God he didn't. He actually just threw the ball away. I mean, that was how we were rooting for this guy. That was what rooting for Zach Wilson was like. That's why we had to take him out. We have to get him to a new place. We can't have a career where he's just running for his life. He's got to get to a point where he can sit in the pocket and make plays. You want to talk about film? You want to look at the film where he had open receivers and he just sat there and then ran away and lost yardage or whatever? It was disgusting, man. It was brutal. I hope to God he gets better because I can't watch another Zach Wilson game with the garbage he was putting out there. It was garbage, man. I don't understand it. You're saying he's calling different games. You're just making things up. Show me some evidence that the play calling changed with Mike White from Zach Wilson. Show me evidence of that. You know, there's film. Dom C, it's good that he's here. He actually knows how. He could show you the film and show you if that's true or not. And if you're right and it's true, fine. But I don't believe that you studied the film and you're saying that because it's true, Billy. I don't believe it. You're saying it because you just don't want to admit, or you're just not able. Not even admit it's not about you. It's about being able to see reality. The thing is, it's not even close. That's the thing that's so frustrating. If you say, why is Jeremy screaming at me? It's not you, Billy. I love you, Billy. I'm not screaming at you because I want to scream at you. I'm screaming at you because the way I'd scream at my mom if she was telling me the meatloaf is burned or is cooked, even though I'm showing her the meat is red. That's what it's like. You're my mom, the meat is red, and you're insisting that it's cooked because you want to believe it's cooked because your whole life in the oven you grew up using, 40 minutes was enough time. But now you live in a different house and you've never accepted that the new oven doesn't work the same way. This is a stretch, but I'm trying to make you understand. So right now I'm sitting here and I love you, man, but I have to yell at you because I'm looking at red raw meat and you're telling me it's cooked because you want to believe it. And it's not true. It's not true. Watch the games. Watch the games. Go back and watch the games. Watch the plays. Tell me how it could be true. Watch Kurt Warner's videos, something. Watch my Wednesday shows when Dom is showing the tape. Maybe we have to do a whole special show where we'll take 10 Zach plays that are good, 10 that are bad, 10 Mike White plays that are good, and 10 that are bad. And the only problem I'll have with that is Dom C will probably call me up and say, I'm sorry, I can't find 10 plays where Zach was good. That would be the challenge. That would be the hard part. Finding good examples of what he's doing right. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't like saying it. It kills me. It rips my heart out to say it. And what's worse is that when people defend Zach, what's worse is what makes me upset about it. It's because I love Zach and want him to be great. What upsets me about it is you're trying to pull me back into the cult. And you know what I mean? And I don't want to be pulled back into the cult until Zach plays well. I will say Zach Wilson is a great quarterback when he plays like a great quarterback. I am no longer going to say he's going to be a great quarterback. I will say he's great when he's great. And if he's never great, I'll never say he's great. But that's why I get so crazy about this. Stop trying to pull me back into this madness that Zach Wilson is good. And stop saying it's the record, 5-2. That doesn't mean he's good. We can go through the 7 games through all the tape. He's not good. He's not good. Everybody else on the team was good. That's why we won those games. Except for a fourth quarter in Pittsburgh. But guess what? Baker Mayfield, I guess we have to say he's good. Because he had a game-winning drive on Thursday. Guess it means he's good. Everybody was wrong about Baker then, right? He's really great because he won a game. You know who used to win games? Even before he went to Seattle. Even before, Geno Smith used to win games for us. He had like 4 or 5 fourth quarter drives to get us to either tie or take a lead in the game. But yet he didn't last 2 years. He was gone. And then he disappeared for 5 years. Why? I mean, give me a break. Look at the film. Look at the stats. I mean, the guy can't break 60%. He's just what he was last year. What is he, 55? Somebody tell me. He's like 55% completion rate. I mean, it's crazy. Do you know how low that is? It's low. But that's what it was. It was like talking to a puppy. It was like talking to a puppy. Like you had to celebrate any little good thing he did because he was so bad. And I was just like Billy. I was sitting there saying every excuse, every ridiculous excuse. They're dropping the ball. It's the drop passes. He's not getting past defense. The receivers aren't getting open. Every excuse. The defense he's playing are tough. The kid can't get a break and play against an easy defense. Every excuse for why this kid sucks. And every other quarterback is fine. Trevor's playing against good defenses and doing okay. He's having ups and downs. Justin starts before he got hurt, started to go off. I don't care if it was from throwing the ball or running the ball. At least the kid could do something. At least the kid could win a game for his team. He was the team. Maybe he wasn't the best passing quarterback yet, but he was the team. We got so lucky we didn't have to go up against Fields because he is the team. They are better because of him. No one is better at quarterback on that roster than Justin Fields. They're a different team when he plays. We can't say that about Zach Wilson because it's the opposite. We know that nobody is better, and the Jets are not better. The player that makes us better is Mike White because he's the first player that allows our receivers to show that they're stars. If Zach Wilson played the entire season, nobody would know Garrett Wilson. They'd be like, bust. Now we get to see how great he is because we have a quarterback that can throw him the ball. Not a quarterback that we have to cheer because he completed a 5-yard pass. Oh, look, he did it. He completed a 5-yard pass. Thank God. And I'm not going to say he didn't make some great plays because he did. That's the only reason I have any hope left because he made some big boy passes. I saw Zach Wilson make some crazy good plays. But, man, is he going to have to get like a million times more consistent and do that so much more often. Because right now, it's like so far and few between, it's just not serviceable. I'm not having a psychic breakdown. I see what you're writing. It's just who I am. I'm trying to make people understand. Maybe it's not you, Billy. But it's like people are constantly still saying that Zach is better. And I'm telling you on Twitter, like if I have to hear the 5-2 record again, and to me, it's just like, okay, so that's just, I'm stupid for letting it get to me because when a person says Zach Wilson is better than Mike White because we were 5-2, that's a person who doesn't understand football. Like that's a person who just doesn't know anything. So I shouldn't even argue with him. Like, why would you argue with someone who clearly says something that makes no sense? You know what I mean? That's so wrong. What's crazy is we're just like, yeah, I am having nightmares about him. Bought 2 of his jerseys, went around screaming to everybody how he's going to take over football. Went on Frankie from Flatbush's show before last season and said he's going to have 40 touchdowns. No, I didn't say he was going to have 40. I'd say he's going to have 30-plus touchdowns and 3,800 yards. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks 4,000 his rookie year. Frankie was like, wait, timeout. He's like, Jeremy, we've only had one quarterback in our history in one season break 4,000 yards. You sure you want to stick with it? And I said, I wouldn't be shocked if Zach did it. Have you seen this kid's arm? Have you seen his talent? This kid is unbelievable. Nobody knows what's coming. That's what I used to say. Harrison, too. Harrison Glasser and me both used to say it. They don't know what's coming. Well, it turns out I didn't know what was coming. I learned a real valuable lesson. Never just look at college tape. Come back to the Colts. I told you I'll happily come back to the Zach Wilson cult when he's actually great. But he like the days where I will talk about Zach Wilson and all the greatness he will have are over. Now it's about I will root for him and I will say what I see. So if Zach Wilson comes back and plays well, I will say it. So if Mike White goes down and Zach comes back and plays better than him, I don't care. I'm not rooting for one over the other. I'm really not. I'm just telling you what I see. If Zach Wilson comes in and plays better than Mike White, I will say it. And I'm not going to say I was wrong because I'm not wrong, because I'm not saying that Zach Wilson can't come in and play better than Mike White. I'm saying that based on the film of the work that both of them have put in, right now Mike White's work is better. That is very different than if Zach Wilson comes back And I'm not saying he can't come in and throw and be great. I'm not saying that Zach Wilson still might not be a superstar. I don't care if no quarterback has come back and turns it around. Because guess what? There's a first time for everything. There's a first time for everything that happens. We don't need someone to compare Zach to prove that he can turn this around and come back and be great. We just need Zach Wilson to do it. So I don't care. Like let's not compare him to Josh Allen. Let's not compare him to anyone. If the kid gets a chance to come in and play, let's root for him and hope he's great. But let's stop saying he's great. Let's stop saying he's good. Because his field of work, if you take his work in the 20 plus games that he was in the NFL, if you take his work, his body of work, that's what we'll call it, his body of work, he's the 33rd or 34th ranked quarterback in the NFL. That's reality. So even if you say it's unfair, he paid with the worst line, the blah, 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 a lot of drop passes, even if you say that, okay, let's move him up 6 or 7 spots. Okay. He's the 27th best quarterback in the NFL. Happy? The only hope we have is that this all has to do with age. This all has to do with the fact that he didn't play against anybody in college, that he had 5 minutes, he could have smoked a cigar behind that BYU offensive line, playing against that very tiny little competition. Like, we have to hope that that is the problem and that he's going to adjust and he's going to be fine. That's what we have to hope. We have to hope that's the case. But I'm not going to sit there and say it anymore. I'm not going to sit there leading the charge saying, Zach Wilson's getting his job back. You will all see he's great. How can I say? Why would I say that? There's like no evidence of that. There's no evidence. I mean, he has 3 or 4 plays that amaze me, that I will always hold on to and think, my God, if this could be who he is. There's like 4 plays. The Tennessee touchdown where he directed Corey Davis in only his 3rd NFL game. Incredible. And then there was a pass to Keelan Cole that he made that was outrageous. It was across the field. I don't know if people remember. He was running right, and he stopped, and he threw diagonally across the field, and Cole caught the ball as he was stepping out of bounds, and it was put in a place where it was absolutely impossible for a defender to touch it. And it threaded the needle, and it was the timing. I mean, the speed in which it happened. It was one of the best NFL passes that I've seen, or up there with as good as it. Like, it was a big boy, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Dan Marino type of throw. It was an absolutely incredible throw. So there was that play. There was the run against Jacksonville, which was incredible. I love that run. That was incredible. The Pittsburgh game, there was nothing spectacular. They were just good passes. He was throwing dimes, but they weren't impossible. Like, Pittsburgh was, you know what I mean? Like, Corey Davis was running across the field open, and he threw a dime, but lots of guys throw dimes. I'm talking about Zach made some plays that not every NFL quarterback could make, just a handful. That's what I'm talking about now, and that was exciting to watch. But just too few and too far in between, people. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, we do have bigger issues. But this game is far from over. Let's not write Miami off. They're a very good comeback team. They're a very good second half team. They're very explosive. Can't believe I'm having to say this about Miami, but we need them to win. So I'm gonna try to be positive. Oh, look, I got money. People are giving me money. Hold on one second. I didn't realize I was getting super chats. Where are they though? Money. Oh, John Nolte is giving me money. Okay, here's a freaking super chat to knock you out of this nauseating debate. Think burritos, delicious burritos. So what if I just have conniptions and like nervous breakdowns? Will I get super chats that way? Thanks for the super chat, John Nolte. You're funny. You made me laugh. I appreciate it. I do need to stop this because it's annoying and it's non-productive. And I'm really yelling at like 2% of the Jet fan base. I should do a poll. I'm going to have Green Bean do a poll. We need somebody to do a poll that gets like 300-400 people, like the Jets panel. Like, do you think Mike White is playing better than Zach Wilson? And we really need to see the numbers. I need to see how bad this is. Like, is it just 3 or 4 guys that happen to hang around my chat and Green Bean's chat that's around our world? Is it 3 or 4 guys out of hundreds? Or is this really a debate? I just because then I have to apologize because I'm just talking to 3 or 4 people. I'm just wasting my time and everybody's time. But if 30% or 20% of the fan base still think Zach is the better guy, I still think it's something we have to talk about. Right? I think. We don't have to talk about anything. There was a time we didn't even have YouTube. We just sat in our house and we had our own ideas. There was a day when we were young where we thought for ourselves. I don't even know who I'm imitating now. Turn the page, onward to Detroit. Turn the page. Isn't that a song? Metallica covered it, I think. They're the hottest team in the NFL right now. I know. Buckle down and win the next 3. I don't know. I mean, you know what? If they're the hottest team in the NFL, so be it. Maybe they're due for a letdown game. Maybe, you know what I mean? Because they're the kind of team that always ends up eventually blowing it, and everybody says, same old Lions. Let's be the team that makes them say, same old Lions. If we lose to Detroit, guys, if we lose to Detroit, I don't know how I'm going to keep going on like this. We can't be 7-7. We can't go from 7-4 to 7-7. Like it just can't be. We have to beat Detroit. Now you're scaring me, Dom. You're giving me anxiety for next week. I'm supposed to be feeling good next week. My vacation starts on Friday. And then you got me all stressed out. Knock it off, Dom. But thank you for the super chat. You hear it was bad? It wasn't bad in what sense? Anytime we lose, it's bad. I hope no one's lying to you. Mike White played great. I don't know if great. He played really well. And then the tape, the film, when Dom C gets me the film, I'm like dependent on Dom C. I'm like an addict. I need the film. Dom C, I need the film. I need to know if he was good or not. But he certainly wasn't horrible. He didn't throw any interceptions. This is a great question. And I've said it from the beginning. I've been saying this. No one could take this away from me. I understood the first week why Zach had to be inactive. I get it. The second week raised my eyebrow, and I started to say, wait a second. What if Mike White gets hurt? The third week against Buffalo, a team that Zach has beaten. So he has confidence maybe against them because he's beaten them, right? He was the quarterback, at least in the game when they won, and he was good. He put up a 101 quarterback rating, maybe one of his best games as an NFL football player. Why wouldn't you have him as the backup? I don't know, but I have to admit this. I don't know what Zach Wilson looks like in practice right now. We don't have anybody. No one in the media. They're not stealing footage. No one. All we hear is Zach is working hard, and our intent is to get him back on the field. And make sure, Zach is not done. He'll get an opportunity. He works hard every day and works to get better. That's all we're hearing. We know nothing. What is he doing in practice? Is he accurate? Is he whipping the ball around looking like Zach Wilson? Or is he still struggling to complete? Is he crying every day, slamming and punching the ground, and they're calming him down, please? And he's like, why can't I throw a 10-yard pass anymore? How do we know that's not happening? How do we know he's not like me yelling into a microphone? Matt! Or what's his name? Billy! Billy, you need to come and coach me, Billy SBC. I can't throw a 10-yard pass, Billy. I mean, we don't know what's going on. He might be doing that. Maybe he's watching right now crying in front of the computer because he's he knows that I got the yips. Like, we don't know anything. That's the problem. So it's funny for me to say it's ridiculous for Zach to not be the backup quarterback. I'm talking out of my, my a-hole because I don't know anything. He might look horrible, right? Right now, or he's so good in practice. If I was watching, I'd say, "What are you, nuts? Start him." That's the Zach we drafted. Start him. Like, I don't know. We don't know because we're getting no information, and that's what sucks. Isn't that frustrating? Like, we're getting no information. We have no idea what Zach is doing right now. Is he improving? Is he not improving? We don't know. I hope he's improving. He hasn't got $35 million of my dollars. Why my dollars? I've went to one game in 15 years, 12 years. And I only had to pay $60 to the Jet Lounge. I don't. He hasn't got my $35 million. Like, I don't know who's $35 million. I mean, I don't think he's laughing though. I think he's always had money. I don't think Zach Wilson is worried about money. I think Zach Wilson wants to win. You think he'll be? You think money? But look. I'm the first one to say bullshit when people say money doesn't matter. I mean, if somebody has millions and millions of dollars and they're unhappy, that's on them. Like, if they can't figure out how to be happy with millions and millions of dollars, that's on them. And let me give you an example. Go and get a villa in Tuscany. Then go wine tasting and to go walk to all those wineries. Go to them. Have a van take you to the wineries. Talk to the owners. Sip on olive oil. Go into Florence and go to the Market Centrale and eat the pizza and eat the prosciutto. And then you go to Rome and you do all these things. And then you go to France and eat chocolate mousse. And then you could go to Singapore. It's freaking beautiful there. Like, there's so, like, don't sit there and tell me that if you have millions, you can't be happy. The thing is though, people can't figure it out, right? Because yes, it's like, technically, I'm telling you how it's impossible for me not to imagine that you can make yourself happy. But the thing about Zach is he knew he was going to get a lot of money for a long time. And even if it didn't, his uncle would give him a job at JetBlue or whatever. Their family comes from money. He's had everything he's ever wanted. It's about ego. It's about ego. This kid has an ego. Trust me, he has an ego. So he doesn't want to be good because he needs the $100 million, the $200 million contract. He wants to be good because he wants to be good. Because what else is there in his life? He's a quarterback. He's trained for it for a long time, forever or whatever. The whole world knows his name. I mean, of course he wants to be good. And it's going to mess with his head if he's not. He'll always regret it. So it's not like he's not laughing. Like Zach Wilson is not laughing, believe me. But he is he's got to get this is not about that. This is about him, that he's got to get it straight. Like Knobcraft is saying, just spend it on blow. I mean, that's not my thing. I wouldn't do that, but it's better than being depressed. Like if you're depressed anyway, I mean, like if I was sitting there and I had millions of dollars and I was still so depressed that I couldn't get up, I mean, maybe do some cocaine. I don't know. I've never done it, but like maybe not because I'm scared to death and too much of a wuss. But you figure out how to be happy. I mean, come on, it's not about that, right? These guys make me crazy. Like they're multi-millionaires and they're miserable. It's like, well, maybe if you can get over needing to control everything and have every, like maybe you could just chill out and say and throw your ego in the closet and just say, I have millions of dollars. Oh my God, this is a beautiful world that we live in. If you have money, you could live like a king and go to amazing places and have the most amazing life. Anyway, why am I talking about this? If you're talking about Zach, the reason why we're mentioning him and talking about him is because we're hoping he's our future. Because I'm not ready to give up on him. Because we need him to end up being great because it screws up all of our plans. That's why, because it screws up all of our plans. It screws us in a major way. We're so screwed. We're so much better if Zach works out. So much better. If Zach could play like Mike White is and get to that level and start playing better, oh my God. We still have him for another freaking 2 years, 3 years without having to worry about paying him. We're already paying him. If Zach doesn't get better, now we have to go out and pay for someone. It totally screws us. I know, Joe, you're saying that he's not the future, but like I'm not there yet either. You see how I'm going to get abused by both sides because there has to be sides. Like, yes, I want Mike White to play now, and yes, Mike White is the better quarterback now. There's no question. But at the same time, no, I'm not willing to say that Zach is not our future. Come on, man. When he beat Buffalo, we were all thinking, right? Most of us were thinking, oh, he's on the right track. Maybe he's, like, come on, we're not there yet. We're almost there, but we're not there yet. There's a chance that Zach is going to recover from this. There's a chance. There's hope. There is hope. Exactly, Jets guy. We need him to be good. And I know needing him to be good won't make it happen. But at least, like, do we really have to accept the worst case scenario before it happens? Like, we're fans. Isn't part of being a fan having some hope? I mean, I know there were very few plays, and they were far and few between. But the plays that he made were so good. Like, they were so good. His arm is incredible. When he's not thinking and he just lets go. Like, maybe it could happen. I don't know when he's going to get the chance, though, because I can't. I mean, if Mike White stays healthy and keeps playing the way he's playing, I can't blame the coaching staff. He's not going to get a chance because you can't bench Mike White. You can't. He's just too good to bench. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that in the playoff run? How do you say we're going to bench you? We're hoping that Zach looks better in practice, so we're going to bench you and hope that suddenly he plays better. We're just not going to do that. Yeah, and that's high. Joe, that's high. You're above me. I wish I had your optimism. I was down to 5%. I wasn't down to 5% for a long time, but I spent a good 2.5 hours at 5%. Then I bounced back up to 15. So 20%, 1 in 5 chance he comes back. If I had to roll the dice right now or go with just whatever happens, I don't know. I might choose to roll the dice. I used to be really good at Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I don't know. But it's hard to put a percentage on it because every human being is different. But, I mean, you're being very generous if you go by history. Based on history, if you take everybody that performed at the level Zach is performing right now, statistically, because there's no way to go through the tape and really do it, But if we went by statistics, quarterback rating, completion, touchdown to interception ratio, if we went and took all that data for every quarterback in history and then said, let's take the bottom percent that Zach is in, whatever that is. He might be in the bottom 10%, 15%, whatever it is. It stops at him. He's the cutoff. You take him and everybody that's worse, right? Maybe you take like the 5 people above him that are close. And you look and you say, how many of these quarterbacks worked out? I don't think it's 20%. God, we're so screwed. We're so screwed. We're so screwed. Because I don't think it's 20. I don't think 1 in 5 of those quarterbacks end up being good. I don't. Sorry, guys. I'm going to cry. I mean, we know he's better than Josh Rosen. That's what we know. The scary thing is I don't know if he's better than Davis Mills from Houston. Like, I don't know. I got to look at the numbers. Dom C, if you're still here, is he better than Davis Mills at least? It's hard to find players that he's better than. But if you're asking why we're talking about it, Billy, we're talking about it because it's so important. Because it is the most important position. We're not good at developing quarterbacks. We need to sign established veterans for that position. Maybe. I don't know. What's hard about it is that they're so freaking expensive. So when you sign one, Yeah, like I don't know how much is he going to get? How much is he going to want, Daniel Jones? I hear what you're saying. I watch a lot of Giant games. He's good. He really is good. When you give him any amount of time and you put good receivers on the field. The guy's had no wide receivers. He started his career with the Giants with no offensive line. I mean, no offensive line. And they didn't even try to get him one. Maybe they drafted the one guy, Andrew Thomas. Then they finally get a line, and now they have no receivers. They keep getting hurt. But I don't know how much Daniel Jones would make. I don't think the Giants are going to let him go. So, Tom Brady, come on. No, we can't have Tom Brady. I think a lot of Jet fans, honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's true. I think that a lot of fans, even if you said, take Tom Brady, he's going to be your quarterback for 2 years, and one of those 2 years, you're going to win a Super Bowl. I think there are a lot of Jet fans that would say, no, thank you. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I know it might make you hate me, but you have to understand. I've been watching the Jets for 40 years. 41 now. 40 because now I realize I'm 52 and I started when I was 10. So what does that mean? 42 years, right? 42. I can't do math anymore. But I just turned 52, so I'm not counting it as a year. So 41 years. 41 years. I'm sorry, guys. I'm at the point where I'll sell my soul for a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I'm pretty fat right now. I'm going to try to go on a diet for next year, but in case it doesn't work, I don't know how much longer I got. If I don't turn around my weight situation, I could be a guy that, croaks any day or in his 70s. I'm not looking to make it. I'm not going to make it to my 80s and 90s at this rate. Can't stop eating. So being serious, it's sad, but it's true. I'm at the point where I might sell my soul. And that's pretty much, if you say, what's an example of selling your soul? Selling your soul for a Super Bowl for a Jet fan would be being okay and saying, I would be okay with having Tom Brady as our quarterback. So, he does have a cool nickname though, doesn't he? But I don't know. I mean, that's another good poll idea that I could do. It's too hard to set up a poll while the show is on, but I think for next time I'm going to set up a poll, and the poll is going to be: do you think Zach Wilson? Was that the poll? No, I was going to say, would you take Tom Brady on the Jets if it was up to you? If it guaranteed we get a Super Bowl? If it guaranteed we get a Super Bowl, would you be okay with Tom Brady being a Jet? He brought back the dummy. Cool. He's got the dummy in the message. Dummy. Here we go. Zach is better than Davis Mills. Oh, thank God. All right, guys. We found somebody he's better than. Wait a second. Chris, I thought you were a Jet fan. There's no way I'd want a Woody Johnson to get his greedy hands on the Lombardi Trophy. That means you don't want the Jets to win the Super Bowl. Wow. So you're not a Jet fan? I thought you were a Jet fan, dude. You've just been hanging out with us all day, the watch party. You've been hanging out in Jets World all day, and you don't want the Jets to win? Like, what the hell? Am I in the Twilight Zone? David Mills' neck is better than Zach's neck. His neck? Okay. But who's the better quarterback? If you sell your soul for... Yeah, but he's got like 7... I'm not the one doing it. No, Belichick actually cheated. I'm just a fan, Billy. I'm just saying that if there was a higher power and some devil came over, Al Pacino, and he made his eyes turn red and showed he really is the devil, and he said, do you want the Jets to win the Super Bowl, but then I get your soul? And you have to do it with Tom Brady. That's what I'm talking about. So I'd look at him and say, okay, you're going to get my soul. How many years do I get to live on this earth? Because there's still things I want to do. And he goes, we'll get to live till you're 90, and then you are mine. And by the way, After you get that ring, that Super Bowl for your Jets, your precious Jets, you will not win another Super Bowl for 50 years. Guys, you don't want me to be the guy making that decision because I might take that deal. Sorry. Might have to take the deal. Tom Brady not winning another selling out the next 50 years. I might have to do all of it because I'm sorry, but right now I am looking at a very strong possibility of never, ever, ever experiencing a Super Bowl. And I just, that's sad. That's sad. I think if there's any chance I wouldn't make that deal, it's now, because Joe Douglas has made me believe more than ever that we finally have a shot. But this situation with Zach Wilson and how bad it's hurting our plan is killing me. It's killing me. Because that's taking my belief back so much, because the quarterback situation is just so important. So I'm going to try to see if I can do a poll right now. I'm going to try to do a poll because it'll be fun. Okay. Let's see this. No. Yeah. Why do they have to make it hard? Why can't I go into my own account? And why can't it be easy to do a poll? I thought that it was easy last time. I thought it. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Who's that from? I hate when I get emails from people I don't know. Not going to be at work tomorrow. It's like, please tell somebody that's actually at that campus tomorrow because I don't even know if I'm there. Nobody thought the Jets had a chance at the last Super Bowl either. Let's leave Zach on the bench. Do we know that they think he stinks in practice and in games? Because that's not what they were saying last year. The New York Jets players were not saying Zach Wilson stinks. And they weren't saying just enough. They were going out of their way to say he's going to be a problem for the rest of the league. This kid throws dimes. They seem pretty excited about Zach Wilson until the shit hit the fan this year. You know what I mean? You like my Al Pacino? If this kid is the kid I think it is, I don't know if he's the one that does his own show. He's very funny. But I don't know if you're the one. Jero, do you do a am I saying your name right? Is it Jero, or because if it's Spanish, it's Juero? Do you do your own show where you review the games and show highlights and stuff? Is that you? Because some kid does that and it's hysterical. He's really funny. And so every time I see you, I think you're the kid who does that. So, that's not cool. Zach stuck up for Elijah Moore. Yeah, look, Zach only had one moment. Zach had one moment where he didn't act like a leader, and that was after the worst game of his life without any time to come down from the situation, right? They literally came off the field, worst game, nightmare game, and had a moment where he wasn't a good leader because of what he said. That's all he did. Every other thing he's ever said publicly and that we've seen is him being a good leader. He met these guys all over the country. He had a camp with them. They spent time together. He did everything a leader should do. He did one thing wrong, and everybody's going to now say he's a baby. He's not a good leader. Let's keep it real. Let's not throw things at the kid that's not there. The kid's got enough shit to throw at him, right? The kid has enough bad games and bad, things that have happened to throw at him. We don't have to make shit up, Sell your soul to win the Super Bowl, plot twist, or reincarnated and come back as a Houston Texans fan. I am your father. I'm not blaming Zach Wilson, but some fan thinks he's better than Mike White. You're not blaming him? I wouldn't blame him either. How could it be his fault what fans think? Look, I mean, I have no problem with the fans saying they like if I had to keep one of the quarterbacks, I'd keep Zach Wilson because I believe 100% he's going to be better than Mike White. I have no problem with that because anything that you're predicting the future is an opinion. And I think there's enough tape and enough things out there that show the talent is there if he gets the mental part right. So I don't care about that. I mean, you know, but you can't talk about the past games that have happened and talk about who's better. Like that is like, that's done. You could look at the tape and you could look at the stats and you look at all the different variables and you could tell who the better quarterback is based on what they've done. But that doesn't tell you who the better quarterback is going to be next year. And guess what? Guess what? No matter we have no idea what he's doing in practice, but here's a reality. Here's a true statement. There is no guarantee. Here's a true statement that Zach Wilson would not have come out if he played today. If he was the first string quarterback, there is no guarantee that Zach Wilson would not have thrown 5 touchdown passes and had the game of his life. It's far-fetched. I'm not saying it would have happened, but you can't tell me that it couldn't happen. You can't tell me that it couldn't have happened. That's the thing. Everything we say and do can only be based on what we've done. The only predictions opinions you could have of Zach Wilson is what he's done. And has he done? Is he like? It's not like he's never completed the pass. It's not like he's never had a great play. So technically, in those moments, he was able to do it. So it's not impossible to say there's going to be a day where he can do those great plays, the few great things we've seen him do, but just do 10 of those in one game and just blow us away. There's just no guarantee. It's just not looking good because we're waiting for him to do it. Come on, Zach, explode, explode, explode. And he just kid won't explode. That's what I'm screaming, explode. Because I honestly thought that he was going to just explode and be amazing. I thought after that Pittsburgh game, that was my moment. When he had that Pittsburgh game, I said he just learned how to be a quarterback in the NFL. He stopped thinking. He wasn't afraid to throw the ball. He saw an open guy and he threw. I said, if he comes back and that's who he is from now on, this was Zach Wilson's breakout game. This will be the moment that his career really started. It didn't happen. It sucks. I'm watching this Miami game. Oh, what a good Miami just runs the ball with these guys. They're doing everything we were supposed to do. By the way, they're doing everything we were supposed to do as far as running the ball. They're down 17-7, similar to how we were down. And I swear to God, if you know Talking with Tigo from Talking with Tigo, the coach of the Miami Dolphins is like his twin in my mind. I mean, I've never seen Tigo in person. All I know is every time I look at the Miami coach, I think, there's Tigo. He's just messing with us. Talking with Tigo's not a Jet fan. He's the coach of the Miami Dolphins, and he's messing with us. Illness. I see illness all over the place. Me? How is Zach the leading rusher versus Pats? Because he ran for more yardage past the line of scrimmage than anybody else. Nobody played good. I agree. Nobody played good. Nobody played good in that game. It was the defense. The defense played good. But other than that, nobody. If the line keeps letting White take the shots he took today, it's not going to end well. Well, every game is different. Like, I'm not going to predict what it's going to look like when he plays Buffalo, when he plays other teams like Detroit. I mean, obviously, it'd be crazy. Like, I think it's normal to say that we should look better offensively against Detroit, right? No matter who the quarterback is. We have good weapons. We have really good receivers. We really do. If we can get any kind of quarterback play from any of our quarterbacks, we should be able to score points versus Detroit. You know? So what did running back RB do? We can't blame whole loss on. You're saying we can't blame the whole loss on the quarterback? Well, you never can. But here's the real thing. This is when the real problems began. Because Brees Hall wasn't just a running back, or a good running back. No. Brees Hall was there's no way to say it without sounding crazy. Like if you describe him too much, people say, "Oh, you're overrating him." It's like, but I don't know. If you watch the games, it felt like to me like every game he was good for a 50-yard touchdown scamper. And I think it was only a amount of time before he was going to get 2 in one game and maybe eventually 3 in a game. The more comfortable he was getting, more and more comfortable, and he was just taking over football games. And he wasn't like just a good running back. It was different. He was like he was having an impact like an Adrian Peterson, like a Henry. Like he was the man. Like he was the guy. He was the guy you could build a franchise around. Oh, look at this touchdown, Miami. Oh, it was like playing catch. It was so easy. I swear to, like, if you're not watching this player, I'm probably behind you. But my God, it was just like it looked like two guys playing catch. Tyreek Hill just blew past their defense, and that's what them. Like how bad is the Chargers? They're up by 10 points, and they let Tyreek Hill get behind them. Like I mean, we complain about our team and the coaching and this and that. Guys, you want to see bad coaching? You can't believe what I just watched. I mean, you got to watch this game. Let me watch it right now. So they're lined up. Looks like they had 4 wide receivers. Hill just went straight deep, no help. They had one-on-one with him. The guy was pressing one-on-one, no help on Tyreek Hill. What do you think's going to happen? You can't put one guy on Tyreek Hill. Like, oh my God. That was crazy. That's the second easy touchdown. And he's dancing around. He's doing the Tyreek Hill dance. That's crazy. It doesn't matter if it's hurt. They still have 11 guys. You don't put one guy on Tyreek Hill. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. You have 11 guys. You have a scheme. You have positions. Like, you don't leave Tyreek Hill alone deep. Like, you have to have a safety back there. If you're going to play up on Tyreek Hill and try to play a man like that, you've got to have a guy back there. I'm sorry. It's like, have they been watching football the last 7 years with Tyreek Hill? This is what Tyreek Hill does. You put one guy on him on man press, he's gone. The only person, if you have Sauce Gardner, but I don't think San Diego has Sauce Gardner, though, Tyreek Hill got nothing. I don't know why you'd say go Chargers. I think Christopher Cancel. Like, what team do you like, man? You're not a Jet fan. Just wondering what team. Who are you a fan of? It's becoming very obvious you're not a Jet fan because you're rooting. It seems like you're happy the Jets lost, and now you're rooting for all the wrong teams that Jet fans would be rooting for. So, you a Charger fan? Tua is the luckiest quarterback alive. I don't know. He's looking okay now. I mean, look, he wasn't doing great today. Let's not fool ourselves, right? They had 7 points, and that was from like some weird fumble that Tyreek Hill picked up and ran in. And I'm not going to give him too much credit for this play because I think any NFL quarterback has no excuse not to do what he just did. Like, I mean, the guy fell down covering him. It was wide open. And it's the guy you practice with that you throw to in practice all day long. I think that you should definitely be able to complete that pass. So I'm not going to sit here and say all hail Tua because he managed to throw a pass to a wide open Tyreek Hill. But at the same time, he didn't screw it up. But lucky is a funny word. Very hard to be lucky in the NFL over and over again. Like at some point, it has to be him. You know what I mean? Yeah, Davis just went to the ground and ate grass. And Tyreek Hill was just left alone. So, I mean, the numbers are going to, you know. It is what it is. Do we have like a Tyreek Hill type guy? I thought Elijah was going to be like that. He doesn't seem as fast. Like, like how come we never have a guy go deep, like where we just throw a bomb? Like, I feel like we just never do it. Am I wrong? Did we do it and I'm forgetting? This makes no sense to me. You know why it makes no sense? Because for the first time, the Johnsons are like not a problem. Like 2 years ago, they gave the team to Joe Douglas, and they're not interfering. They're doing nothing wrong. Like, isn't that good news? Like that's what we want. Owners who just have nothing to do with the team. Now they're fans, they're there, they're involved, but they're not overriding. Like in other words, they're letting Joe Douglas to make all the decisions. So I don't know why you'd be mad at them. Unless you have something against the Johnsons, like for some other reason, which we won't talk about because we're not talking about politics. But you know, oh, great play by San Diego. It looks like they just had like a 70-yard play, something like that. Wow. See, this is the thing about Miami. Like, if they're so good, their fans act like they're so good. If Miami is so good, like they make, like this is a horrendously bad play from them. Justin, I mean, Justin Herbert just like literally ran the other way, threw against his body, threw it way up in the air. It had like a 4-second hang time, and oh, now Miami just did a missed tackle. I mean, they don't look like their fans are making them out to be this incredible team, this outrageous team. And I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm just saying like Miami looks like they got some problems. Like they still have some work to do. You know what I mean? They're about to lose they're about to make Hill's points worthless. Oh, so you don't like the stadium thing? I don't know that. I like you have to get the permits. Like, I mean, I don't know if there was a place to put the stadium. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know why the Giants owner and the Jets owner, the Johnsons, I don't know why when they built the stadium there, I don't know why they couldn't do a better job. I don't know why it's such a junkyard. It is a crappy stadium. And they also put no effort or thought into the traffic. There was no thought into how people get into the stadium. Um, there's a lot of things that they did wrong. I think I think that the designer who designed that stadium, the architect who designed that stadium, should never get another deal again. Like they like that is as bad a stadium as you can build. I don't know if I blame that on the Johnsons. I mean, we went in on a partnership. I'm sure they had a, for all we know, they may have fired the person who did it, but I'm sure they're not thinking that they know everything. Like there's a chance they hired somebody who's in charge of the new stadium. Like the Giants and Jets each hired some guy that they trust, and the two of those people worked together, and they had a stadium built. They were given a budget. They hired like the company that does it or whatever, the designer. I don't know how it works, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like Leon has screwed us. I mean, he didn't like the bathrooms and he pulled us out of Shea. He could have stayed in Shea and then had us and fought to build a stadium in Flushing. He didn't do that. He just up and left in New Jersey. So I don't know, man. I don't know. And I don't know how after losing all these years you could say it's worth losing to get rid of them. Because they're owners, you can't get rid of them unless they want to leave. So, like, I just doesn't make any sense. I mean, basically, what you're saying is you're not a Jets fan because you're going to have to keep rooting against them until we lose. What if we're good for the next 5 years? You're just going to keep rooting against us. At what point do you not have a team then? Like, at what point do you not have a football team to root for? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, just Why don't you just like hope that he feels pain and suffers in life? I don't know. But like, he's not selling the team, bro. So what? I don't understand. You're gonna just root against the Jets? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're missing out on rooting for the Jets. Like, doesn't that suck? You're wasting years. There's nothing sadder than wasted time. You can't. They're not really New Jersey's team because the Giants are New Jersey's team. I think. I mean, for the most of, as far as I know, most New Jersey people, in my experience, like the Giants. And the Jets always have Long Island, Brooklyn, a lot of Brooklyn that's split. Long Island, some of Manhattan, some of Staten Island, it's split. But like, and then the Giants always had the Bronx because Yankee fans are and Giant fans are often connected. And Giants always had a lot of Manhattan and Jersey. That's the way I remember it growing up. So I don't know. I don't know how the Jets became Jersey's team. I look. I mean, I'm happy if there's a lot of fans in New Jersey. You know, if there's a ton of Jet fans in New Jersey, I'm happy. I just never got that impression. I always thought there was more Giant fans there. You think that Johnson said keep the money low? Don't they have more money than God? Like, don't they have like a disgusting amount of money? Aren't they? They're Johnson and Johnson, right? Like, isn't that like billions? Like, don't they have just? Oh, look at this, Miami. Don't they have like just disgusting money? Like disgusting. So the Chargers are winning 20-14. They settled for a field goal, but Miami has the ball and is driving. This is actually going to be a really good game. The problem is it's crawling. It's crawling. It's going by so slow. There's still 3 minutes in the third quarter. Can we just fast forward to the fourth quarter, 3 minutes to go, and just get into the drama? Anyway, they're at the 37-yard line. Miami. Tua takes the the in the shotgun. He went to go deep. He pulled it in instead and ran for a first down for a 14-yard gain. Tua, 14-yard gain. Good scramble. As much as you might hate Tua, he just made a good play. He scrambled and he got the first down. I think we're rooting for them, guys. It's really hard to root for them, but I think we have no choice. It's so hard to root for the freaking Dolphins, I'm telling you right now. Because even though I know that we're supposed to be rooting for them, when I watch the game, my heart won't cooperate. It's like hoping that the Miami Dolphins just lose. I hate them. Yeah, they have I knew they have to have disgusting amounts of money. They're like the biggest pharmaceutical company there is. It's insane money. Johnson and Johnson's baby powder. Don't they own Band-Aids? Like, they own so much stuff. There are so many like everyday products that they own. Tua, throws a pass, sets up his guy to get hit right away. Who's that? Ingold. You should take away the I don't know. You should take what I want to call him Ingle, like Charles Ingalls. Oh, it looks like the ball's on the floor. It doesn't matter. Now they're going to have a big delay trying to see if he caught the ball or not, even though it's the difference of like a yard. Because like he didn't get any yardage anyway. The Lions have the best O-line we're going to play this year. Well, if we sacked, thrown like a rag doll. Wow. What was that? Bosa? No, they don't have Bosa on their team. Fox, number 56. He has the nerve to wear 56. Let's see what he does. Oh, he went right through. He trailed his own guy, right? Oh, that was beautiful. He drafted behind his own guy and just took that lane in to just crush Tua. So Miami is now punting. San Diego is a score away from maybe putting this game away. Now the Chargers are going to get hot, right? Our luck. Well, look, at some point, it's not about what other teams do anyway. I mean, we could sit here on the side and hope that things happen, but I'm saying at the end of the day, we have to win. We can't forget about that. These games mean nothing if we don't win. And sometimes, I worry because there's like a little bit of a streak building up of us losing. We've lost 3 out of our last 4. It's not good. So we're going to have to, we're going to have to beat Detroit. We're going to have to beat Detroit, and then we're going to have to beat Jacksonville. Like, we're going to have to win some games. And if not, then we don't deserve it. And that's that. We'll have to just settle for improved. The Jets are improved. That's what it's going to be. If we lose, we're just going to have to live with that. Being an improved team. I don't see what, it just is what it is. But I still think all 4 games that we're playing, all 4 games are winnable. It doesn't mean I'm disrespecting Detroit or any of the other teams by saying the games are winnable. I'm just saying I think they're winnable games. They're games where I think that if we play our best football, we can win. Like no problem. Like if we play our best football, I think we're better than most of those teams. I believe we're better than Seattle and Detroit. I do. And I believe we're better than Jacksonville when we play our best football. If we don't implode, if we don't make stupid mistakes and we just play our best football, we can win. We can win every one of these games. It's possible. We can win 11 games, but we just need 3-1, 10-7. 10-7, give me a wild card game. We'll root like hell and hope we win it. Anything else that happens after that would be complete gravy. It would just be total gravy. Each week we just get together and root like hell and hope we can pull off a miracle. And if not, we'll shrug our shoulders and say next year, thanks for, have a nice day. Right? So I think we could all agree on that. Thank you for the super chat, Jets Cub fan 29. Had a vision. Zach quarterback 2. White suffers concussion. Zach lights it up. Now who starts? Good problem to have, I guess. Yes. Let's first of all, I think that's the most important thing that you said. Good problem to have, I guess. Not guess. Good problem. We want every player in every position to be great. We want the problem. We want to know. We want to have too many players to get on the field. We want that problem. The only thing is when we resolve that problem, we want to resolve it by picking the right guys. Because sometimes teams don't always pick right. You have too many good running backs, and you let the one go that you shouldn't have let go. The Giants let go of this Ingram guy, this tight ends. Ooh, you had to get 2 touchdowns and 160 yards tonight. Oops. For Jacksonville. Oopsie. So, look, I think you're spot on. It's a great problem to have. It's not a good problem. It's a great problem. And if Zach was to come in and light it up, see, I think you have to stay with him. And I think you'd have to stay with him, but on a very short leash. If Mike White went down and Zach came in and was playing great, I think you keep him in until he's not playing great anymore. Short leash. But if he played great the whole rest of that game and won us a game, let's say, and the next week comes, Mike White's in concussion protocol, you bullshit it around a little. The medical team makes him wait a little bit longer. Well, you could suit up, but you probably shouldn't play if you don't have to. That kind of thing. Even if he's ready, right? You have him play. You have him, like, if he can, you have him be the backup quarterback, and you keep Zach in if he lit it up. And the reason I'm saying that, because someone will say, well, it's not fair. He got hurt. Now you're going to take him out and he loses his job. No, we have to be realistic. Zach was the second overall pick. We're stuck in his contract. We're paying him what we're paying him. There's no way out of it. It's crazy dead cap money if we tried to. There is no way out. And Zach is the best option if they're both good. Like if Zach suddenly was lighting it up and he was good too, and we had 2 good quarterbacks, Zach is the one we don't have to pay millions of dollars to at the end of the year. We're already paying Zach. Mike White is the guy that we would have to pay millions of dollars to. So we're rooting for Zach to be the better quarterback, but we're not rooting for Zach to play over Mike White if he's not better. Doesn't that make sense? Like if he's not better, then no. because I want to win. So I'm not rooting for him to play over him because that means that's crazy. That means we're not winning and we suck. But if he's as good as White, we want him. He's the horse in the race that helps our team. He's the better horse. Because if Zach wins, and then Zach is a good quarterback, then for the next 2 years, we don't have to even think about this, right? Then it's the 5th-year option. I mean, then we'll have 3 seasons of not having to think about it. It'll be the greatest thing to happen. But all this is just, I mean, this is all hypothetical. But he must be the quarterback too. He must be. Like now, I mean, unless he's so bad in practice. Like, in other words, what if he's horrible in practice? What if right now, what if during practice when he's throwing passes, they're awful? What if he's hitting the grounds? What if he's punching himself, frustrated, throwing his helmet because he just can't he can't do it. He can't focus. We might not, that could be happening and we don't know about it. You know, that's the problem. We honestly don't know. We can only, I mean, it's just, we're totally in the dark. But if he's looking like Zach again in practice, then hell yeah, he's got to be number 2. Plus, even if he's not looking good, I just have this feeling if he's into the uniform, if Mike White was to get hurt, I think Zach would run onto the field, and I think, let's see if he could do it. See if he'd be able to respond. Let's see what the kid does when his life is on the line, when his like not the money, but like his whole career of wanting to be a great player is on the line. What could the kid do? I don't want it to be over for Zach Wilson, his story. He's still I still want him to have another shot to prove he can do it. Of course I do. It's Zach Wilson, man. It would be great for our team if he can pull it off. So, yes, he should be the number 2 quarterback. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. But I agree with you 100%. He should be the number 2 quarterback. I wish all Jet fans could agree on that. He should be the number 2 quarterback. Look, the problem with Streveler is I have no problem. If we're out of the playoff race by the time we play Miami or we have it cinched and it's a meaningless game, activate Streveler and let's see what the kid can do. Like, absolutely. But in a meaningful game, I'm sorry. You can't. I mean, it's just too much of a wild card. It's a complete roll of the dice. It's completely gambling. Like, we don't know anything about him. Like, it's like we know that he won preseason games against guys that work in Home Depot now. Yeah, it's just not, you know what I mean? Look, it would be a great story. I'd root for the kid. I just said it. Anybody who wears the Jet uniform, I root for. If we bring Streveler into a meaningless game because we already have the wild card wrapped up, I'm still going to watch and enjoy that game and root for him and say, I hope this kid's good. It'd be great to have another great, more talent on the roster. So, nothing against Streveler, but right now we have 2 quarterbacks. We have Mike White, and then we have the question mark Zach Wilson. But like I said, I don't care how bad he looks in practice. Nothing is the same as a game time thing. There are people who are bad in practice the whole career. So I don't care if Mike White went down today. When Mike White went down, I wanted Zach Wilson. I will take my chances with him. We gave up a second. I mean, we we used a 2nd round overall draft pick on this kid. For the love of God. I understand he can't be the starting quarterback right now because we have a quarterback that's playing better right now. But my God, if that quarterback goes down, we can't go with Flacco or Streveler and still not go with Zach Wilson. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So, yeah, I guess I think it is nuts that they didn't activate Zach today. It's too important to be playing these games. Like, at some point, they have to stop playing around and get serious. To me, if you're serious, you have Zach Wilson at least as the backup. Like, you at least have a number 2. You can't put Flacco above Zach Wilson again. Like, and if that performance of Flacco today doesn't drive that home to them, then I'm worried about the staff. Like I'm worried about their judgment. Like, you could not have done worse than what Joe Flacco did today. He was an absolute disaster. We may as well just had Berrios be the emergency quarterback. That's how bad it was. It was as bad as it could possibly be. It couldn't get much worse. So I have no understanding of why you wouldn't at least have Zach as the backup. They should have had it this week. They need to do it next week. I mean, what then? And then if not Strevler above Flacco. Because Flacco, we know what we're getting. We're getting complete garbage. He is garbage. He does not belong in the NFL. He's garbage. He's so bad it hurts. He is absolutely the worst, most worthless football player probably in the NFL right now. He's completely worthless. He's nothing but bad. Nothing good's going to come with having Joe Flacco. So I don't know what they're thinking. These games are meaningful. Put Zach in there. And if it's not Zach, then fine. I guess we have to live with Strevler as the backup. I don't care. But just not Joe Flacco. Because as soon as Joe Flacco came in, we knew we were dead. They started, you could see on the TV it pouring out of the helmets, the Buffalo Bills helmets. Saliva was dripping out. They were feasting. They were so happy. They were like, oh, Flacco's in, the statue. Just aim and hit. He is so bad. My God, he's so bad today. He managed to come in for, 2 plays, and he screwed it up so bad. He gave them the ball. The guy has no awareness whatsoever in the pocket. He just pretended that like he had no idea like this and waited for them to just knock the ball out of his hand. It's like taking candy from a baby. He's going off again. I'm not going off. But you agree that Flacco's no good, right, Billy? No, tell me your order is I want Zach, Flacco, Strevler, and Mike White. Is that your order of favorite? Like, are you exactly the reverse of me? Like, you have to agree with me that, right? There's nobody left that wants Flacco in there, right? Like, is there anyone here that wants Flacco in the game? Raise your hand now or forever hold your peace. But man, that's like of course that Zach Wilson should be the backup. Of course. There's no argument in my mind that Zach Wilson should be activated and be in uniform. Like, enough already. It was 3 games. I mean, we're going to just keep humiliating this kid. I mean, yes, that pisses me off, in case you're wondering. It pisses me off that we're humiliating this kid and having him stand there out of uniform. I mean, God, at least let him put his uniform on. But you're joking right now. There's no way you mean this. And if you do, then I'm never going to argue with you again, because I'm going to say, okay, Billy, you good luck with that, my friend. Good luck with that. Joe Flacco. Good luck, my friend. You think we all agree? I don't know. I think Billy's messing with me. He has to be messing with me. There's no way he thinks Flacco is the best quarterback on our roster. It's impossible. Like, you're scaring me because you're making me think you're serious. Like, who cares about resume? Why not bring Joe Namath? He won a Super Bowl. Come on, who cares about his resume? That was 1,000,000 years ago he won a Super Bowl. There's an age, Billy, where you pass the threshold. You get old. He's 39. There was a time when none of these guys were playing at 39. We've invented this. All of a sudden, guys are playing into their old age. I mean, he's 39. Just because other people have managed to still be good at 39, he hasn't. He's like most quarterbacks. Somewhere around 35, 36, he lost it. And he held on a couple of years for us. I was even shocked by that. But he is totally done. I'm scared for the guy. He's too old. He's sitting there. He's going to get killed. I don't want his career to end with a Joe Theismann type injury. Get this poor guy out of there. He's not an NFL quarterback anymore. But you're saying you actually believe that, but you're basing it on, you're saying resume. That is, I mean, but the resume, the things he's accomplished, is not the same guy. You know that, right? You understand that when you get older, your skills erode. You understand that, don't you? It doesn't matter what he did in the past. Like what he did today, you must have seen today. Wait a second, you don't think he was horrible today? You defending him? Do you see how brutally bad he was today? He came in and he threw that disgusting pass, missed the wide open guy, and then on the next play sat there like the statue he is as they came up behind him as if he didn't know he was playing football, and they knocked the ball away from him. And he gave the ball to the other team because he sat there like a clueless statue, like he was senile, and didn't know that 3 seconds have went by. Someone's going to come eventually, even if you have the worst senses in the world. Like, at what point do you look around at least? He sat there waiting for someone to knock the ball out of his hand. You cannot be a worse quarterback than Joe Flacco. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL by a mile. Like, he is complete garbage. This kid, Brock Purdy, who was drafted the last pick in the 7th round by San Francisco, is way better than Joe Flacco. Anyone is better than Joe Flacco. I think Braxton Berrios is better than Joe Flacco. We would have had more. If Berrios was the quarterback on those 2 plays, we probably don't turn it over. Probably don't complete a pass. Maybe he runs the ball for a few yards. Maybe we have to kick a field goal or something. But better than Flacco, who gave the ball to them and lost us the game. Like, Flacco is trash. And the only reason we're keeping him is out of respect for a good career. We don't want to embarrass him and cut him. But my God, Joe Flacco, because of his resume. Oh, my God. I mean, that literally is like, let's bring Dan Marino and put him on the team. Why not? He's got a great resume. Why not Joe Montana? He's got a great resume. Can we base anything on talent? Can we base anything? I thought you were joking, though, Billy. I really thought you were joking because I did. I love you, but I love you, but man, really? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about? What are you watching? What are you watching? Oh my God. I don't care what does his resume say? His resume say he played the first 3 games of this year and he sucks. He did a good thing, though, against Cleveland. I don't know how he did it, but he actually did okay against Cleveland at the end. But, man, Joe Flacco. Like, that was the most painful part of today when he came in, and it wasn't Zach. Like, we didn't have Zach, and we had to bring in Flacco. We were all like, oh, no, and we knew it was coming, and it came. He came in, he threw the incomplete pass. It was almost an interception, and then the fumble, and we knew it. We said, here it comes. Like, we all cringed as he was sitting in the pocket and they were closing in on him, and he did nothing. But not only did he do nothing, he didn't protect the ball and fall down. He just kept looking like this. It was so bad. Oh, it's embarrassing that he is actually playing. It's embarrassing. That's like the weakest spot on our team. Like, but that was how bad the coach's decision was. Going back to that, the fact that we had Flacco as the backup quarterback was probably the worst decision that Saleh has made in this entire year. Like, that's the one that if there was one thing that made me think why Saleh is not a real head coach or why he might never win a Super Bowl, it's literally because he allowed Joe Flacco to be our backup quarterback in this game. I mean, it's like absolutely the most gross thing in the world. Like, as fans, we deserve so much better than that. Like, don't you think we deserve better than that as fans? Like we have our pride. Like, why does it have to be Zach, you're benched and you don't even get to play? And we're gonna put in this 90-year-old fossil to back. And if he gets hurt, we're just gonna put this fossil in. Like, I don't understand. And even I would say at this point, I wouldn't have said this before the game, but after watching Flacco today, I'll go for Strevler over Flacco. I think Strevler gives you a better chance. It wouldn't be pretty. It would be like who's that guy? I'm forgetting his name. It would be like, the Jesus guy, like what was his name? Tebow. If we win like Tebow, like that's how Strevler would win us a game. It would be like a Tebow game. He'd run for like 80 yards or something, or 80 to 100 yards. He'd hand off the ball like crazy. And then he would like he would just like he believes so much, because that's how Tebow did it. He believed so hard. He had so much faith that it would happen for him. Because I think that faith converts to confidence. So Tebow believed so strongly that he did it. He was able to succeed. In the opportunities he had, he made things happen. He beat us with a 20-yard run to the end zone. The last thing he did before New England cut him was like win a preseason game with a bomb touchdown pass. And a lot of people still don't understand it. Like, why did they insist he couldn't play quarterback when all he did was win? And that's a good example of a guy who wins, but still, he's not that good. But anyway, I think Strevler would give us a better chance to win than Flacco, because at least he's unpredictable. The other team doesn't know what he can do. He's really good at, scrambler. Like again, I think that Braxton Berrios would have been the better option for those two plays, because you can't have worse production. What was Flacco? 0 for 1, almost threw a pick with a fumble. What did he play? 2 plays, 3 plays, and he got a fumble and 2 incomplete passes or something? It was gross. It doesn't matter how old Brady was, because Flacco is not Brady. That's what I'm trying to say. Some guys, like Nolan Ryan, pitched until his 40s. Most pitchers at 36, they suck. They're anomalies. Like, you can't compare. It's not the same. It's not because, Brady won a Super Bowl at 44. That means, or 43. That means every NFL quarterback could play to that 43. It doesn't mean that. Like, what world are you living in? That was Brady. Flacco is shit. We watched it. He's shit. I'll root for him. If we put him in there, I'll root for him, but I know how it's going to end. It's going to end with me with my head in my hands saying, I can't believe we're playing a piece of human garbage at quarterback. And I don't mean to disrespect the guy. He had a good career, I guess. He had a very good career. He's got a Super Bowl ring. I would take it in a second. But unfortunately, we don't get the Zach Wilson. We don't get the Joe Flacco who won a Super Bowl. We get the 39-year-olds. I don't have a clue. I'm a pure statue Joe Flacco, which gives us no chance to win a football game. He's absolutely awful. I don't know how he got the Cleveland game, but without the miracle, without Cleveland basically rolling over and dying, Flacco wouldn't have won a game for us. So Flacco, my God, then we're going to compare him to Brady? It's like, who cares? Flacco was done. He had a chance in Denver with a good team around him, and he couldn't do it. Flacco's had so many chances it's been years since he's been good. Years. He hasn't been good in years. He's the absolute worst. The absolute worst football player, the worst quarterback in the NFL, maybe. Like, if we cut Flacco, no one's picking him up unless they're desperate. Like, maybe San Francisco. Maybe San Francisco picks him up and says, well, but I think Josh Johnson is better. Josh Johnson, because Josh Johnson is not a statue. Josh Johnson was able to move. You can't play a football with Flacco and be serious. The guy's a statue. He doesn't move. He takes 2-3 steps back. He's slow. He takes forever to get rid of the ball now. He's done. He shouldn't be in the NFL. He's like not even close to being talented enough to be in the NFL. He's just living off of his name. If his name wasn't Joe Flacco and he was just some guy that you were trying out, you'd never put him on your team. Right? Maybe he's there to be a leader. I don't know, a mentor. Maybe that was what they were thinking. But my God, after seeing today, maybe if you had any hope that Zach could do something, Flacco. If you had any hope that Flacco still had something left, how did that question not get answered for you today? Like, how could you have watched today and say, I still want Flacco? Like, what? Like, how bad does he have to be for you to say, screw the resume, I want somebody who knows how to throw a football. I want a guy who knows how to step away. I want a guy who knows that when you stand in the pocket for 20 seconds, eventually someone's going to hit you, so you have to protect the football. Joe Flacco. Come on, man. You could do better. Miami is losing despite us. I doubt it because Miami is 8-4. I don't think they want to be 8-5. They're fighting for a playoff spot, my friend. They're not losing despite us. They want to keep track with Buffalo. They still play Buffalo. They have a chance to win the division. Not only that, they have a chance to not make the playoffs. They haven't clinched anything. If they go 8-5, we're technically only a game behind them, and we play them, which means we'd have a chance to beat them if we kept, and then we would get the tiebreaker. So, I know it might feel that way, but they're not losing on purpose. They want to win. That's why I'm not like so crazy if Miami doesn't win, if the Chargers beat them, like the one good thing we have is that means we're only a game behind them, but really we're not. We're kind of like, in other words, we control our own destiny with them. So as long as we stay only a game behind Miami, if we keep even pace with them, when we play them the last game of the year, then we would be playing them, and we would if we win, we'd step over them. So Miami is one of those teams where we have control of our own destiny. It's really important that New England loses. Looks like they kicked a field goal. And what does that mean? When I say what does that mean, is I'm trying to figure out is this still a game? Is there any realistic hope, or are we at the end? No, I mean, technically, it depends on your mindset. Like, there's no way to know for sure who you want to lose a game. You can only judge it by the situation. And right now, the situation is if New England and Chargers keep losing, we will back into the playoffs just by winning 2 games, even if we only won 9 games, if they were to keep losing. So it's, you know what I mean? Whereas Miami already has 8 wins, they're 8-4. Are we really going to catch them? It's just being like realistic. It's like basically by rooting for the Miami, you're saying we concede that Miami is going to make the playoffs. We concede that they're going to take a playoff spot. We're acknowledging that that's the reality. And that the team that we really are battling for the playoff spot is the Chargers and the Patriots. We're conceding that the reality is it's going to be those 3 teams fighting for a playoff spot. So it's going to be the Jets, the Patriots, and the Chargers. So if the Chargers lose, we stay above them. And then we hope for New England to lose. Because if New England is tied with us, that's problematic because they have the tiebreaker. But at the end of the day, no matter what, we still have really strong control of our destiny. Like, in other words, it's kind of wimpy right now. It's kind of not really believing in our team to be so obsessed with the other teams, because the reality is if we would just step up as a team and win 3 out of the next 4 games, we're probably going to go to the playoffs. And if we don't, it'll still be a great season. It'll suck that we won 10 games and didn't go to the playoffs, but it still won't erase the accomplishment. But overall, we want Miami. But remember, if Miami loses, that keeps them within our reach. And as long as Miami, here you're seeing it, the Jets are would be 1 game behind Miami. Now, if we stay 1 game behind Miami and we beat them in the last game of the year, we jump over them. So it's not all bad. The fact that these teams are playing each other is a good consolation prize for us, because the worst case scenario would be as if Miami and the Chargers weren't playing each other and they both won. That would be much, much worse. The fact that one of them definitely is going to lose is what is really helpful as far as keeping control of our own destiny. Yeah, every team in the AFC East is in the playoff picture. It's true. And there's a chance. No, I think that chance is gone. We're not all going to make it. Well, it's not impossible. It's still possible that the Jets, New England, and Miami get all the wild card spots. It's possible mathematically. I don't know, man. We got to start winning. We got to stop. Like obviously, sure, we'll root for the Chargers to lose, but at the end of the day, here's Tua throwing it deep, Tua deep, 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 deep. Oh my God! You know what he did? He threw it to Tyreek, who was limp and not even ahead of his guys, but he may have been held because the referees look like they're calling a penalty. But he ignored Waddle. I think it was Waddle, who's wide open. Penalty on the defense. Illegal contact. Okay. Illegal contact, which means the Chargers Miami will get a first down at least. It's weird that he threw it to Hill because the other Dolphin looked wide open to me. I think it's Waddle. I don't know if it was Waddle, but there was a Dolphin on the sideline that was way, way open. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. This is what keeps us alive. All these guys are going to be beating each other up in our division. I'll feel so stupid if the Chargers lose all their games anyway, and there was no reason we had to root for Miami. That's why I'm not completely emotionally invested in this. I can never be like emotionally invested in rooting for Miami unless it was to get us in the playoffs. I mean, if it's the last game of the year and it wasn't the Miami was playing some team, and with Miami winning gets us into the playoffs. For that one game, I'd be the biggest Miami Dolphin fan on the planet. I'd be screaming. I'd be like, Tua, Tua. Whatever the cheer is for him, I'd be like, they showed that on a special where the coach went back to Hawaii with him and they did some kind of special ceremony. I'd be doing that ceremony. Like if it got anything to help my team. I am a unapologetic Jets fan. I will root for the worst things that you could root for if it means the Jets make the playoffs. Except injuries. I don't root for injuries. I know this is the biggest fear in the world, that New England starts winning. Like that New England's going to start winning their games, and that no matter what we do, they're going to end up tied with us. And then I'm going to throw up because the hardest part of this season to swallow with all of this is the fact that we are better than New England and we got swept. We were the better team and we lost to them twice, and that just makes me sick. Tua is 6 for 22 passing for 119 yards. Is he really? Why did he all of a sudden get so bad? It's kind of weird. Let me look. It's really weird that he would get so bad. He was doing so good. But it's not weird that he played bad last week because San Francisco's defense is amazing. But let me look at these stats. Tua, 8 for 24. Oh my God. Holy shit. 8 for 24, 33.3%. Oh my God. Maybe it is on purpose. 126 yards. Oh my God. They might have to bench him if he keeps playing this bad. 1 touchdown, though. And because of that, this is what's so weird about the quarterback rating system. Because of that 1 touchdown to Tyreek Hill that had nothing to do with skill, I promise you Billy SBC could have thrown this touchdown pass without question. The guy fell down. Tyreek Hill was wide open. Any of us, you throw your football and throw it our Forest towards Tyreek Hill. He's going to catch it and run for the touchdown. Okay. So only because of that, his quarterback rating is 65. If you take away that fall down thing, if that play doesn't happen, his quarterback rating is like in the 30s. Like he's having a horrible game. Tyreek Hill, he's really the story. I mean, man, look at them. Look how bad they are. Nobody has a lot of yards rushing. Mostert has 37 yards, 3.4 average. Tua is doing good on the ground, 3 rushes for 28 yards. Okay. Jay Wilson is 4 for 26 yards, good average, but still not a lot of yards. There's nothing good about Miami. Wow, their offense sucks. I can't believe they even have 14 points. Wow. Did they get a defensive touchdown? They must have. Pretty bad. Or maybe they got the 2-point conversion because it looks like they got some. Did they get some field goals? No. 2 extra points. So they must have gotten a defensive touchdown. Huh. It's pretty ugly, guys. Pretty ugly. Tua only had 180 versus Bills, in Miami win versus them. That's interesting. So he doesn't do good against good defenses, but a lot of guys don't do good against good defenses, right? Tua is trash. Okay. Fire LaFleur. I don't think they're going to fire him. Just being realistic. I mean, he's not even on the hot seat. So maybe if he's bad the rest of this year, maybe next year he's on the hot seat. But unless Michael LaFleur said something stupid or did something, he ain't going nowhere. Like, he's got a long leash still because he's not even considered to be in the hot seat. Oh, here we go. Deep pass. Tua is awful. Holy cow. Like, look, I'm not even being a Dolphin fan. I'm not being a hater. Look at the coach. The Miami coach is like this. Ugh. Oh my God, look at his face. You can tell by looking at the Miami coach. He's like, oh, like he knows. He's like, oh God. He's like, he's realizing why the other coach doesn't believe in Tua. Holy cow, that was bad. Oh my God, that was so bad. Waddle is like looking for the ball, going, what the hell? Where? That was brutal. Guys, that was ugly. That was ugly. Well, I think, you know what? I think we have a good chance to beat Miami in the last game. I really do. The more I see this, they kick the field goal. Okay. I think we have a really good chance of beating Miami. They're only down by 6. So let's see if Tua can come with an amazing drive. Oh, there's only 1:10 left in the game. So do they have any timeouts? I don't even know if there's possible for them to come back and win this game. Like onside kick. Okay. So I think we could beat Miami because Tua is really bad. I said it. I think we might be able to beat them. So I think that might be our easiest game. The way, because Detroit is so hot. Detroit is so hot right now. No, Jacksonville's got to be our easiest game, right? I mean, they're good. No game is easy, but you got to think Jacksonville's our best shot. Seattle's our second to best shot. I think I'm more worried against Detroit than I am against Miami. I think I'd rather play Miami. That's how bad Tua looks right now. He looks like Zach Wilson. No, because it's a different kind of bad. The one thing Zach never did was throw. Like when Zach threw deep, he had an arm. He could throw deep. This guy is throwing like butterflies, like little, onside kick. Oh, he bobbled it. He bobbled it. Oh, they're fighting for it. And I think the Chargers got back on it. Oh my God, they had such an opportunity. Miami had such a great opportunity. They might have it. Oh, this is like Jets Cleveland all over again. Miami is saying they have it. It didn't look like it to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. The ball was totally open. Oh, it's the Chargers ball. Miami totally blew it. They had the ball spit out. It was loose. I can't believe they didn't get it. Oh my God, that was so close. And Miami has no timeouts. The game's over. Is it the fourth quarter? Is this really happening? The Chargers just beat Miami? Holy shit. Miami couldn't even beat the Chargers. Wow. Like, he fumbled the kickoff thing. It was like at his feet. It was wide open. Where were the Dolphins? Where were they? Yeah, victory formation. Game's over, guys. Wow, Edward Muscari, you're pretty confident that they're a bad team. Does that mean you think we're going to beat them? Fraud. Wow. I doubt Chargers coach lose this game. If he does, his job is gone. Yeah, he's definitely playing like he still might be gone his job. Like, I don't know if this is going to save his job. Depends what they do the rest of the year. So does San Diego pass us? Like, do they have the tiebreaker on us for some weird reason? It doesn't matter, guys. Even if we're technically not in the playoff, like in the slot right now, please don't panic. I mean, we still control our own destiny. Remember that. We control our own destiny. Miami is only a game ahead of us, and we play them again, and we have the 1 game edge on them. So we own Miami if we beat them. We have Miami in our destiny. Like control of that situation, we have total control. Unless we fall behind them by 2 games. As long as we go into that final game of the year within a game, if we are only 1 game behind Miami, we control that. So let's all remember that. We have control of Miami. So this is we gotta stomach. I know it's gonna be a hard week, and we have to stomach that we're not the team that right now. If the season ended today, I get it, but the reality is what we control our own destiny. We still have control. All we have to do is win. Miami plays Buffalo, so they're gonna lose next week. If we beat Detroit and Miami loses to Buffalo, that means. Let me say this correctly. That means we're going to have a tie record with Miami. Right? Yeah. We'll both be 8-6. We'll both be 8-6, and we've beaten them once, so we'll have the tiebreaker. And all we really have to do is play Miami and be within a game. We could be a game worse than them, and as long as we beat them, we're in. We beat them. Okay, we're going to be fine. The bottom line is, guys, is that we control our own destiny. That's the bottom line. We got to beat Detroit. We got to beat either Jacksonville or Seattle and beat Miami 3 out of 4 games, and we're done. We're in. There's a small chance we get in winning 2, but I don't want to be 9-8 and relying on other things to get in. What we want to have happen, guys, is we want to win 3 out of the next 4 games. We want to go 3-1. We want to win 10 games and go to the playoffs. Now, I will say this right now, and I'm predicting this right now just for you guys. There's not many people here. This is just between us. The Jets are going to run the table. What was that? What was that? The Jets are going to run the table. What? Did I say that? Did you hear that? The Jets are going to run the table. No, it wasn't me. You didn't see my lips moving? No. Guys, the Jets are going to run the table. What? What are you talking about? What's that? The Jets are going to run the table. Mark it down. Bet on it. What? Okay. That's me. I'm saying it. I am saying it right now. The New York Jets are going to run the table. The New York Jets are going to finish this season 11-6. It's going to happen. These games, I know they were tough losses against Minnesota and Buffalo. I say it's going to launch us and propel us. I say that our guys know they're good now. I say they know they could have won. And I say they're going to win. 1 game at a time. We're going to go on a 4-game winning streak. We're going to run the table. And I want everyone here to remember I said it. Because I don't want to have to go back and find this freaking show and download the whole thing and find it. I want witnesses. But this will be my receipt. We're going to win the next 4 games. And we are going to the playoffs, people. People. It's going to happen, people. And I don't know how the quarterback situation is going to play out, and I don't care. Because whether it's Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, or Mike White, we're going to the playoffs. We're not losing. Pray Chargers implode. I don't feel good. No, V-Man. We don't need anybody else to implode. We're going to win the next 4 games. We're going to win out. Because I believe. No, raw power. I didn't forget what team I root for. This is not the same old Jets. Get it out of your head, man. It's not the same old Jets. We are going to run the table. We're going to run the table. We're winning every game. I wish Nick Shine was here. Because if Nick Shine was here, he'd be saying it 100%. There's no question in my mind that Nick Shine believes we're going to win the next 4 games. We are going to run the table. I'm not dropping acid. We're going to run the table. We are going to run the table. We are going 4-0. There you go, brother. We are going 4-0. I'm saying it right now. We're going 4-0. It's okay. It doesn't matter about hypotheticals of what happens if we're going to lose to the Lions, because we're not losing to the Lions. We're going to beat the Lions next week. They'll score some points. They have a good offense. We're going to slow them down, and we're going to score off of them. We're going to control the ball. We're going to run all over them. Bam, 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 bam. All over them. We're going to beat the Lions. Then we're going to win on Thursday night. Then we're going to beat Seattle. And then Miami's going to be sitting there with all that trash talking about how good they are. That guy Smokey on Twitter. Miami, Tua. And we're going to go and we're going to kick their ass. We're going to kick their ass with an exclamation point. We're going to shut down Tua and make him look like a high school player. We're going to beat him so bad, like he's never been beaten in his life. They're going to wish they had Skylar Thompson back in the game. That's how bad we're going to beat Tua. And we're going to go marching into the playoffs 11-6. I'm saying it. It's going to happen. Mark it down right now. Say, Jets Chaos predicted that we were going to run the table and win the last 4 games of the year. Mark it down. It's happening. We just need it to be on the In the Hunt graphic. The only reason we're in the hunt right now on that graphic is because that's what we as fans asked for. We did that because we said, all we care about is when they show the graphic up is that we're in the hunt. And that's on us. Well, that ends now. We're going to win the next 4 games. We're going to go 4-0, and we're going to go marching into the playoffs. And I feel bad for whoever we play because we're going to be going in with confidence, and we're going to be going in to make a statement. And let me tell you something. Our defense is only going to get better. We're going to come in ready to go. We're just getting better and better each week. They're believing more and more each week. We're going to go into the playoffs with adrenaline dripping off the teeth of our defenders. You have no idea what's coming, people. This is not the same old Jets. I don't care where we're playing them. I don't care where the games are. Get us onto the field. We're winning. We're not losing again this year. What happens if I'm wrong? To quote the father in Dirty Dancing, I know you're not the one who got Penny in trouble. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. That's what happens if I'm wrong. But I'm not wrong. Let's go. Start to believe, people. If fans believing in their team have to do with anything, then maybe we're the problem for not believing. If there's any study that shows that fans believing in their team is helpful, then we are failing our team. We're failing our team because we're not believing. We keep going back to this disgusting narrative of same old Jets. Nothing I see is same old Jets. Even these 2 losses, these 2 past weeks, look nothing like the same old Jets. Nothing. You tell me a comparison on how we look like the same old Jets from the last 2 weeks. What about the last 2 weeks look like the same old Jets? What, not giving up? Playing with everything we got until the last second, until the clock goes to 0? This is not the same old Jets. We are running the table. And I'm not alone. So I got AdLab Studios. I know he is with me. And I know that somewhere out there, Harrison Glaser is out there. And he's got my back on it. He knows we're winning all 4. He knows we're running the table. Hell, I think Green Bean might even know it. And I know Buffalo Jet fan knows it. And I know Nick Shine knows it. Proud New York Jets fan, Nick Shine, he knows it. We're going to win the last 4 games. We are running the table. And each week I'm going to remind you, when we beat Detroit next week, I'm going to say, that's 1. And then even on vacation from the Dog and Horse Ranch on Thursday night, December 21st, I'm going to go online because the house that we're renting has technology in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to say, that's 2. Then we're going to go into Seattle. Seattle. 3. And then we're going to eat Tua for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we're going to run the table. Because what I just saw from Tua, no problem. Nobody puts Jets chaos in a corner. You got it wrong. You said no one puts Jets in the corner. You should have wrote nobody puts chaos in the corner. Would have been a little bit funnier, Nolte. Little bit. Check my vitals. My vitals are fine. What you're looking at is, you could say I'm crazy. You could say I'm nuts. You could say I'm bald. I'll tell you what I'm not, though. I'm no quitter. I'm not a rat. What is a beard man? A beard man. 15 years ago, I would have taken a flamethrower to this place. A beard man. You got a kid here, right? Yeah. A Jets fan. And you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh at a Jets fan for believing in his team. You're going to laugh. Hoorah. Watch. I just lost all monetization on the channel because I imitated Pacino. Copyright infringement. Guarantee it. I can't get rid of you. I'm like waiting for it to dwindle down to nobody watching. But some of you just can't shut this off. You just can't stop watching. Is this the audition room? Would you like to audition, Barney? Billy SBC wants to audition as Skip Bayless. He's going for that guy. I want Pacino's part. You're in the dark here? No, I've just lost my mind. I've been live for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I was live with Green Bean for 3 hours. I was live for an hour for Buffalo. So this is literally like over 8 hours of live streaming for me today. I must really hate myself. Is this the audition room? Guys, give me a movie for Pacino. Oh, I'm in the dark here. Where's that from, though? I remember him saying it, but I can't remember. I like it when he was the mayor. I choose to fight back and build this palace. Come on, give me a movie. Give me a movie. Give me an audition. I got to do an audition. Great movie. Yeah, the great. You're talking about City Hall? Skip Bayless, not this good looking. Meanwhile, the picture you have is Spock. Dog Day Afternoon. Oh my God. Remember him in that? Wow. Oh my God. How did he go? He goes, I want to talk to my wife. I can't do. Oh, I haven't seen it. Oh, Glengarry go. Steak is for closes. This is the mature candidate. The Devil's Advocate is the best. It's our time now. Our time. The millennium is coming. Oh, big fight. All round is coming. The 2000s are looking good for Satan. Oh, Scarface. Say hello, my little friend. He was in a million things. Look how many movies you guys are naming. He was in a million things. He's got to be the greatest actor ever. He's got to be the greatest actor ever because you're naming a million things and there's classic lines from every movie this guy's ever been in. Classic. And I've seen him on Broadway twice. I've seen him in the hell's that? The Blood Collector, or with the flesh, whatever. The Merchant, the Venice Merchant. Of course, he was the collector, the debt collector. And then I've seen him. He was in this play that never made it, where he was like an airline guy who messed up and was going to go to jail for a long time. But it's cool seeing him live Al Pacino on a stage. It's kind of cool. It's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. He's like, I want my pound of flesh. I was promised a pound of flesh. All right, it's time, guys. It's 8:45. It's time. I wake up at 5 a.m. for work. My wife is going to kill me. I wasted the whole day. I spent no time with her. Anyway, I guess I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll see you on Wednesday on the Wednesday Wacky Wednesday show. I got nothing left to say, honestly. When I come back on Wednesday, I'm not talking about anything but how we're going to beat Detroit. I promise. That's all we're going to talk about. How are we going to beat Detroit? That's going to be the topic. That's what we're going to talk about. How we're going to beat Detroit. One game at a time. Detroit comes first on my road to being something you guys will remember forever, because you will never forget that I called it and guaranteed that we're going to run the table. You guys will remember it forever, the ones that are here. It's going to happen, and we will start with Detroit on Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Good night. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.